all my life. Been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life.
Welcome to the Red Zone special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Darren Smith with you for the next 3 hours, getting you all prepared. This is the start of our 24-hour pregame as we kick off Super Bowl 55 tomorrow. That features the Kansas City Chiefs looking to defend their Super Bowl title against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With us over the next 3 hours, we'll be joined in just about 4 minutes, our union broadcasting president, Mr. Chad Boeger, to talk about the 24 hours that we're putting together for you all. Soren Petro, host of the program, will join us in the second hour. And in the third hour, we'll be joined by former Chiefs defensive back Jayice Pearson and Jarrett Bell, the NFL columnist for USA Today and a Hall of Fame voter. Michael Coleman might even drop in on us as well. But right now, joining me over the next 3 hours will be the one and only Mr. Sterling Holmes, who's going to keep me on the air and everything. Sterling, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Darren. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got my Chiefs jersey on. I know everybody was like, Darren, you've been dressed in suits all week, and you dressed down one time. This is the one time I'm dressing down because I got to go back to the suits tomorrow for game day coverage. That of course we'll be providing you the best of right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And I also got some good Kansas City style barbecue here in Tampa that some good friends of mine have had decided to throw together for myself and Michael Coleman. But right now, of course, if you want to jump on the phone, you can give us a call at 913-381-810. Again, tomorrow it is Super Bowl 55. Chiefs 16-2, taking on the 14-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the game takes place at Raymond James Stadium. Kickoff is at 5:30 Kansas City time, 6:30 here in Tampa Bay. Of course, you can watch the game on CBS, and of course, you can listen to all the action right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Look, there's a lot of things that I do want to talk about. Obviously, there's a lot of news that's going on as it relates to the Kansas City Chiefs, and of course, their assistant coach situation. We do want to send our heartfelt thoughts out to the children involved in the accident earlier this week. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we hope that you all are able to pull through there. Of course, once I'm notified, of course, we'll be joined once again by our union broadcasting president, Mr. Chad Boeger, who was down here in Tampa with us. He was down on Radio World this week, and I've got to say, for you all who have gotten a chance to watch some of our coverage, we have provided you live coverage and the best coverage all week. Having a chance to be down here this year is much different than what we've seen in previous years, of course, with it being COVID-19 that's out there in the country. People down here really haven't really been utilizing their masks as much as we thought that we would. But we can talk about that throughout over the next couple of hours. But I am joined, first time I've actually had him on as a guest, but I'm joined by our union broadcasting president, Mr. Chad Boeger. Chad, good evening to you.
Darren, I can't believe it. Is this really the first time?
Yes, yeah. First, well, because it's interesting because I know you told me that you kind of got started on the air when you and Jason Willock and a few others started the station, but I never got a chance to actually have you on. So, pleasure doing so. But I want to jump right into things because I know you're out right now enjoying Tampa, so I'm a little jealous of you right now, Chad. You got me working, but it's all good. Quick question. Two years straight, Sports Radio 810 WHB has provided our listeners with 24 hours of pregame coverage leading off to kickoff. I guess first question is, why do we do it, and what separates us, in your opinion, from other news and radio and television outlets that cover the Chiefs, or even Tampa for that matter, bringing the best coverage?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being a part of the show, and great job by you this week. I know that you've been here since last Saturday, I believe, maybe Sunday, and I know it's been it's a grind going out there, being on Radio Row, and you set up a ton of different interviews, but you're also constantly working it, trying to provide your listeners with as many interviews as you can. So great job this week. I think for us, it's important to provide Kansas City and our listeners, and we're really a different radio station, locally owned and operated. such a huge part of what we do is, from a community standpoint. And so anytime we do anything, we try to do it better than anyone. And I think that, it's important to give, people from Kansas City kind of a sneak peek or a view of what's going on in Tampa. And so, we really feel like, not only is it important to, cover the Chiefs while they've been in, the Super Bowl in Miami last year and in Tampa this year, but also every Super Bowl. So, we were fortunate enough, I think the very first Super Bowl we actually covered was in 1998, and we've been doing it ever since. We've had people at Radio Row every year. We feel like it's one of our favorite years, our favorite weeks of the entire year. So, it's always great because we always try to bring you the best Chiefs coverage, our listeners. But this gives us a little bit of something else. And so you're bringing on ESPN guests and CBS Westwood One guests, former football players, current football players, and they're giving you, points of reference that maybe you don't hear all the time. So, for us, we felt like it's extremely important to be on Radio Row, even though we're in the middle of something different. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's obviously a different year for all of us. But we feel like, Radio Row is extremely safe, and everyone did a very good job. That Tampa was phenomenal with everything that they did to make sure everyone felt safe and doing their jobs.
So I'm curious, what were your thoughts this week? I know you and some of our, my colleagues, Chad, along with Jason, got in Tuesday, and you all started up on Wednesday over on the Sports Radio 8 side. What were your thoughts, I guess, that you've seen and observed with how Tampa has hosted this year's Super Bowl, especially with their home team being represented?
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens tomorrow. I mean, I think that what the NFL did with the first responders and bringing 7,500 first responders to the game tomorrow is phenomenal. I'm actually at a dinner tonight, Darren. I know that you're jealous, and it is a great dinner. But my dinner tonight is with a company from Kansas City, actually, that's bringing first responders from all over the country. And so We're having dinner right now. There's about 30 of us, and about 20 of those people are first responders. So it's awesome to be with those people and see all the things that hear their stories and what they're doing within the community. So that's been phenomenal to see and meet these people. But I think that Tampa itself, I feel like they were extremely prepared. You feel again as where we're broadcasting live from Radio Row at the convention center, as well as for all the people out there that don't really obviously know where maybe the convention center is, but as you're watching ESPN or any of the television stations and they're showing you on television where the pirate ship is and the fireworks and the different things that are going on, I feel like they've done a really good job again of making sure that you're wearing masks, they're distanced, they're doing all the things that they probably should be doing to save, and but also making sure that you're enjoying yourself. So the NFL experience is going on. It's a number of different tents, so it's outdoors, and it's not just one; it's multiple along the Riverwalk. So I thought Tampa, again, we're going through it from a COVID standpoint, has done a very nice job.
Chad Boeger, the Union Broadcasting President, joined us on the Red Zone special tonight here on Sports Radio 810 W. Chad, I'm curious, what has the response been from fans over the past two seasons? Because we've done this, 12 to 24-hour pregame coverage leading up to kickoff the last 2 years with the AFC, well, I guess last 3 years to the AFC Championship games, and then, of course, the Super Bowls.
Well, I think some of our big things this week were, first off, we definitely wanted to be live on Radio Row, so that was awesome to be there, be in Tampa, as we talked about, a little bit different, but still we had, I believe, well over 50 guests between our Sports Radio 810 WHB shows and ESPN Kansas City. So a number of different, obviously yourself and Jason Anderson, Corey Anderson live from Tampa, which was awesome. We're obviously doing our 24-hour pregame show, and that's just fun. I mean, we want to bring our coverage, live all night long into tomorrow up until 5 o'clock. So give our listeners as much information as possible, the latest news, interviews, and different things that we can do to provide them with, everything that Tampa has to offer. So the 24 hours is big for us. And then also, obviously, the live broadcast of Super Bowl 55. So we'll have that tomorrow. Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will bring the live coverage from Tampa, and that will go all the way through the Super Bowl. And then Josh Briscoe, which has always done a terrific job for us with our post-game show. He's, who knows how long Josh will go tomorrow night, Darren. You never know. I mean, he could be going all night long again. Last year, I believe he went all the way up until the start of our morning show with Stephen and Nate. So
nice.
We'll be all over it. And honestly, we feel like our staff is the best staff in the business, and our guys are going to give you as much coverage as humanly possible. And so we know it's game time, it's show time, it's what we do, and we're going to try to bring the listeners every ounce of what we can give them from a coverage standpoint.
And, that kind of feeds into my last question. So I'm going to allow you one more time to kind of brag about what we do. But this week, obviously, both our stations, Sports Radio 810, WHB, and ESPN Kansas City provided and has been the only sports station to provide wall-to-wall coverage all week long, and will continue, as you mentioned, to do so through tomorrow night's game, even post-game. As president of the company, how does that make you feel to give the audience what it wants?
Well, I think proud. I love it. I mean, I'm probably different than a lot of people in this business. So most people that are general managers or presidents or whatever you want to give them a title, and I really honestly I'm not big on titles. So I don't even most people that come through that side maybe come from a sales standpoint. I grew up through the programming side, so I'm I was a former on-air guy. I did a show beginning in 1996. On 1510. And so, as I've come through the last, 24, 25 years, we always look at ourselves and say, let's try to do everything possible to provide our listeners with the best possible coverage. If you're in your car, what do you want to listen to? And I feel like that's just extremely important. And all of our guys, again, I feel like I've done an awesome job. And so, being, the only stations down here, that's again what we do. We've always done it. We're going to continue to do it. And, I'm very proud, obviously to be a part of this company. And I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of not only the guys that were in Tampa, but all the other shows and everything that they've done, to try to, bring all these different interviews to you, the live coverage of all the Chiefs, the Zoom calls, the news conferences, all the different information that we can bring. That's awesome. I love it. I'm just like, I'm like the guys, everyone, the men and women in their cars right now, the kids, I want to hear the best stuff on the air, and that's what we always try to bring.
Chad Boeger, Union Broadcast President. Really appreciate your time. I'll probably run into you at the game tomorrow, but I look forward to seeing you back in Kansas City. Enjoy the dinner.
Hey, Darren, I was thinking, I got to give my prediction right.
He's rushing you off, Chad.
Look, as the boss, I'm trying to be mindful. You said 10 minutes, so I was doing just that.
No, you're good. You're good. When I said I was coming on with you, they said take as much time as you want. So you got the green light, man. You can go as long as you want.
Nah, don't say that. But no, okay. But since you will be at the game, and of course you've done this before, give me your thoughts on tomorrow's matchup and what you see. Obviously, the Chiefs won this game 27-24 back in Week 12. How does the game differ, if it differs at all, and your overall thoughts and who you have winning tomorrow?
Before the start of the season, I honestly really wanted to see this game. I mean, I've been hoping for this game all year long. And when we got to the NFC and AFC championship games, I felt very, very strong about the Chiefs getting there. When it was Green Bay against Tampa, I'm like, oh my gosh, what an amazing matchup we have here. I mean, obviously the Aaron Rodgers factor of him being the MVP or probably the MVP, and most people looking at it as like, okay, well, obviously Patrick Mahomes, a lot of people thinking he should be, or if he, would have played that extra game, maybe he would be. And, going back and seeing that, but it's not nearly what it is with Tom Brady. I mean, it's not. I mean, you have Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and the enormous story and the guy that's ruled the National Football League since 2000. and the Hall of Fame career, all the great things that comes with that story. I wanted to see this. So there's nothing better than seeing the Bucs and the Chiefs in this Super Bowl, and hopefully we're all going to see the torch passing. I really think you're going to see that. I can't wait. I just think it's so exciting. And as we're all kind of struggling and going through these uncertain times, and what the NFL has done has been absolutely phenomenal. And so I think it's just great. I think it's great for the city. I think it's great for the community, not only to get there and just getting there is such a huge accomplishment. I don't think any of us understand how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl. It's just such a enormous accomplishment. I mean, we all waited. Myself, I'm in my upper 40s. I'd never seen a Super Bowl. I never, and getting last year was just, it just draws the community together, draws our whole Kansas City, together. And I just thought it was so awesome, and seeing them win the Super Bowl last year, and now we're back. And I just think how incredible of an experience, families sharing this together, friends. I can't wait. And I think it's going to be a fun game. I think the Chiefs not only win, I think they cover. I know the line's between 3 and 3.5, but I think the Chiefs in this game tomorrow win 35-31. I see the Bucs scored a late touchdown to make it a little closer than maybe it is, but I like the Chiefs in this one. So let's go Kansas City.
First of all, Chad, those were words that just melted my heart when you said the Chiefs cover the point spread, and of course they go over the 55 and a half points that's out there. So I really appreciate that part. And just your thoughts, because obviously, not only union broadcasting, but just small businesses across the country over the last year dealing with the pandemic. And are you surprised that the league was able to get a start? Obviously, there was some adjustments throughout the season with the games being played on different days, and of course, we had to move our schedule around to fit some of those national games. But were you surprised that the NFL was able to get to tomorrow to complete the season on schedule?
Well, I thought the big thing was just that the season started on time. Yeah. They were able to go through with mostly that there were some issues here and there. But for the most part, other than maybe 5 or 6 games that were postponed or moved, the NFL did an awesome job. And I just can't believe it. I mean, you look at some of the other sports and stuff. I mean, the NFL did an awesome job of getting this season to this point. With, in the most part, people were healthy, and they were able to get the season in. And so I don't know if I was surprised. I really felt the NFL was going to do everything possible to make it happen. So I think that I think it's terrific that it's taken place, and I think that again it kind of gives all of us a way to enjoy some of these times that a lot of us are struggling through. So am I surprised? No, because I think the NFL does an awesome job. But I think that anytime there's just so many things that were going through my mind as we're getting to August, and no preseason, and starting off straight to game one, you're like, oh my gosh, are they going to be able to pull this off? And they were, and they did a really good job at it.
All right. Well, Chad, again, I know they said I can keep you all night, but I am mindful. We do got to pay bills, and we do have to continue with the show. Really want to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'm sorry this is the first time I've got a chance to have you on as a guest or whatever. So we'll definitely have to do it again, because I do want to get just a little bit more background, but we'll do that on different shows. But I really want to thank you for your time, and please give the first responders our best as well.
Hey, I will. And hey, great job this week. I know you're going to continue to be here, and hopefully, our listeners out there, you guys have an incredible time tomorrow with your families. If you're with friends, just be safe, but have a terrific time. And remember, these things don't come around every day. This has happened twice in the last 50 years. So enjoy it, root it on, regardless of what happens. This is very special for our city. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Well, and Darren, great job this week. Thanks for having me on, and we'll definitely do it again sometime soon.
Thank you. Now, I do want to get one more question to you, and I just want you to put your sports hat back on, because we have Patrick Mahomes. Because we have Patrick Mahomes, and of course, this is what Chiefs fans envision when they draft drafted him 4 years ago. The last 3 years, team has been to the AFC Championship game 3 straight times. We've hosted it in Kansas City and then gone to the Super Bowl twice. Do you think that Chiefs fans will start to morph into New England Patriot fans to where we expect this year in, year out with this quarterback and this type of team?
Do I think we're going to expect Patrick Mahomes to be in this situation many times in the future? I'm sorry. Is that the question?
Yes, pretty much yes.
Well, I think Patrick's, one of the best players we've ever seen. So yes. I mean, you look at Tom Brady, and Tom's fantastic. I mean, we all know how great he is, and so seeing Patrick do what he does and the different ways he can do it, it's amazing, really. So I think you're going to see Patrick in similar situations many times over his career. But again, as we've seen, whether it's be Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or any of these other terrific quarterbacks, it's not easy to be in this position. So you have to take advantage of it. And as many guys on our station have said, and when you're going up against what a lot of people consider the greatest of all time, I think we probably all do, Tom Brady, you got to win this game. I mean, this is big, especially for Patrick's legacy. So I think it'll be again. I think the Chiefs win. I think if Patrick does win, that's a huge milestone. And again, I do think the Chiefs will be good for a long, long time, because anytime you have a quarterback as special as he is, I think you're going to see that for who knows how long.
Jarrett Boeger joining us on the show, Union Broadcasting President. This is the Red Zone. We'll take a quick timeout. Chad, thank you very much. I'll see you hopefully running to you at the game tomorrow, and we'll do this again real soon. Sterling?
You got it, buddy.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, Sterling, we'll go to break. When we come back, let's dive into tomorrow's game as we look back and see how both of these teams got here. You're listening to the Red Zone Special right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Now more than ever with the coronavirus, it's important for hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics to protect their frontline staff and patients. Walker Medical Linen supplies and launders a full line of barrier gowns, scrubs, and bed linens. We guarantee a cost savings over your current program. Request a quote from our team at walkermls.com or 816-877-8800. Stay safe, Kansas City, and experience the Walker Medical Linen difference.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman, and I have a feeling that retirement is on your mind. You're wondering if you've saved enough or whether your money is in the right places. You're wondering, when will you be able to retire, or will you be able to stay retired? And is your money sufficient so you can live in comfort and financial security for the rest of your life? You're wondering all this, but you really don't have to just wonder. You can resolve all these questions in your effort to enjoy a retirement that's everything you want it to be, and we can help. At Edelman Financial Engines, our clients are predominantly concerned about retirement, your financial security for your spouse, for your aging parents, for your children.
Blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
Is finding the clothes that you love in just the right fit and size an overwhelming task? Experience a new way to shop with Stitch Fix. Our experts hand-select pieces so you can get the ease of personal styling from the convenience of home. Every piece is curated just for you. for staying home or on the go in your unique style. With Stitch Fix, there's never any subscription required, and it's delivered right to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Wholesale Batteries is proud to support our hometown team as they get ready to win the big game. Watching the game at home or working from home? Let Wholesale Batteries protect your man cave or workstation from power surges and outages. Wholesale Batteries is stocking your uninterruptible power supplies to provide coverage during power surges, spikes, or outages. While the big game is on, you can trust Wholesale Batteries to protect you from any outages. Kansas City's largest battery supplier, Wholesale Batteries. The right battery the first time. Let's go, Kansas City. Bring back another title.
Beachcombing, baking cookies, learning French. Aren't these what you'd rather be doing than thinking about your Medicare prescriptions? Well, Walgreens is here to help you get back to it with convenient refill and pickup options, expert pharmacists to answer all your questions, and Medicare copays as low as $0. Zero. Which is also the number of cares in the world you'll have as you saw the beach, eating cookies, and speaking French. Oh la la. Walgreens.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans where Walgreens is a preferred pharmacy.
Welcome back to the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I am Darren Smith, joining you until 8 o'clock locally in Kansas City, 9 o'clock here in Tampa. Following the show, of course, we'll continue with live coverage of the Red Zone Special that's going to feature Josh Briscoe at 8 o'clock. The Red Zone with Ali Trost will take over at 11 p.m. Then we'll have the best of 810 and Radio Row at 1 a.m. That'll take us all the way through to 6 o'clock in the morning, where Dr. Andrew Jacobs will have his Chief Special. Will be, of course, followed by the CBD Frank Bowles Show that will continue with the Chief Special. Chiefs Tailgate will begin at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you will return to live coverage with more Red Zone coverage with Josh Briscoe and Ali Trost at 9 a.m. And then I will turn around after this show. I'll come back at 11 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be doing the show live on location in front of Raymond James Stadium, getting you ready for the Central Bank of Midwest pregame. So I'll do my show from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then Soren Petro will take over the rest of the way from 1 to 3, then the NFL countdown. Then, of course, the Super Bowl 55 Westwood One pregame special at 4 o'clock, leading up to, the Super Bowl 55 Chiefs versus Bucks, 5:40 p.m. kickoff. And then, of course, Josh Briscoe will host the Super Bowl Chiefs postgame whenever that game ends. Of course, hopefully it ends about 6 o'clock after the kickoff where the Chiefs just run up the score right away. But Sterling, look, of course, these two teams, of course, they faced each other back in Week 12. Chiefs won that game 27-4. To get to this point, Kansas City had the best record in all of football, got a bye week, came back in the divisional round, defeated Cleveland 22-17. Patrick went down in the third. Of course, the team was able to hold off the Cleveland Browns 22-17. Patrick Mahomes returned against the Buffalo Bills, and the Chiefs went all out, winning that game. I believe, if I remember, I forgot. I know they won by 14. I think it was 38-24 over the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. Your thoughts on the Chiefs' road to right here back in Tampa?
Well, first off, I'm extremely jealous that you're down there because it is snowing up here. So first off, got to get that out of the way. Yeah, let me go ahead and just throw that bad boy out. Second, though, for all of the talk of Kansas City, we need to realize how tough it is to do what they've done. To actually at least run it back to this point, it started off as a catchy saying, the whole run back campaign. The fact they've actually done and gotten to this point speaks volumes not only about the work ethic, but the fact they all had one common goal. You know how hard it is to be a Super Bowl champion, to not walk around the city and say, you know what, we did it. We won for the first Super Bowl in 50 years. We're the guys. We're the man. We can kind of coast. They didn't do that. They came back with a vengeance. They went 14-2. Even when fans were saying, they should be beating teams by more points, what were they doing? They were still winning. So they've gotten to this point. They've had one goal, one focus in mind. Even with COVID, they seemingly didn't have hardly any issues. I just think it needs so much credit how they've kept this laser focus and had this one goal in mind. And guess what? They're here, and they have one more step to actually cross before they run it back.
I will agree with you. I'm not going to stand for that shot you took at quote-unquote fans who wanted them to keep their foot on the gas. So, yeah, I know that was me. But, no, look, you bring up a good point, and that's one thing that I would have asked Chad, because you really have to understand and take in mind what they were able to do. And like you said, to go through not only be able to celebrate like they did after winning the Super Bowl. Of course, we got a chance to have the parade here in Kansas City for them, but not long, maybe a month and a half after winning, of course, pretty much the country shut down due to the pandemic. And so they didn't really get a chance to ride the roller coaster wave throughout the summer. As it relates to being able to celebrate with fans and family and stuff like that. Then, of course, no preseason, no OTAs, no training camp. So there was a lot of things that you would normally be able to do and be able to experience together collectively, especially with training camp, not being able to go to St. Joe, not having 10,000 fans up there screaming at you every single day while you're practicing. And then, of course, again, we didn't, and as Robin Mills said, the Chiefs did get bored throughout the season. You could tell, because there were games that you were thinking, why is this game much closer? I always go back to the game against the Carolina Panthers where they were winning, or where they won the game 33-31. They were 10-point favorites in that game, but Teddy Bridgewater and company almost upset them at home at Arrowhead. And then to me, that bye week couldn't come fast enough, and they were able to go to Las Vegas and basically get the win back from the Raiders that they suffered from the first loss of the season at Arrowhead. Now, of course, they didn't cover the point spread. That's another discussion. That's another show within itself. But they were still able to win games that they were supposed to win. And not only that, just to go back to your point about how they won games. Again, I always say that the players themselves, they set the standard. They said that they felt that they can score 50 points a ball game. So it's not as though I put some undue pressure on them that that they weren't able to live to. I mean, these were words coming out of Travis Kelce's mouth to me on Zoom calls that that he felt that this team and Tyreek as well felt that they could score and they should be able to score 50 points a game each week. Now, we know that the defense gets paid as well on the other team, but they were so dominant, and I always go back to the first matchup that they had against Tampa Bay, November 29th. They jumped out to a huge lead. Again, that opening drive, they had a chance to go up 7-0. I thought that they were being too cute as it relates to Travis Kelce trying to throw a touchdown pass to Patrick Mahomes. Instead, they didn't get the touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal, so that's 4 points that you left off the board. They should have been up 28-0 before halftime over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And look, I'm just someone who was of the adage that if you get a chance, especially if you may face a team like the Bucs or the Saints in the Super Bowl, to me, you dominate them right off the bat so you don't come back to where we are, getting ready for tomorrow's game where people think, oh, well, Tampa, if they only had one more possession, they could have won the ball game. The score was only as close as the Chiefs allowed it to be. I just felt that the Chiefs should have scored maybe 48 points against because it looked like that they were on their way to doing that. No, I know you're shaking your head. Luckily, I can see you on the camera.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs should have been more dominant in that game to where you come into tomorrow's game. Tampa Bay will be coming into the game with doubt of whether or not they could go back and forth with Kansas City instead of thinking, well, we were in the ball game. Maybe this time around we can turn around and beat them.
Darren, they're in the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter how many points they won by. It doesn't matter. They're in the Super. It doesn't matter by how many points you win by. All that matters is you win. There's no extra prize. You don't win extra games for winning by more points. You don't win extra games by controlling the clock or having time of possession. You win games by scoring more points than your opponent. That's what matters, and that's what the Chiefs did. They're 14-2, and they're in the Super Bowl. If they would have beat the Buccaneers by 21, that changes nothing. They'd still be facing off against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. If you win by 2, you win by 21. It does. I mean, do you not agree?
No,
if they would have beat the Buccaneers by 21, what's the difference?
Okay, now, one of the things that I have on you not only besides good looks or whatever, is the fact that we
That's
got
a lie. Come on now, Darren.
we got some wisdom. But you're my guy. No, but in all seriousness, I disagree with you in relation to that, because what you have is you have the mental part, the mental aspect of it, to where, again, look, if the Chicago, and I know you're gonna say they're different era, but it's the same thing. But if the Chicago Bears at the 85, they went 18-1, but the way and they were defeating teams. When you got to the Super Bowl, nobody thought the New England Patriots that year, going up against them, thought they had any chance of winning. All I'm saying is that as dominant as Kansas City and the offense was throughout the year, if Kansas City beats them 48-17 or 48-10 or something, because the first half, obviously, the Bucs went 3 and out on 4 straight drives. Kansas City capitalized on all that. If they go up 28-0, you start to force them to do things. Maybe Tom Brady, gets some turnovers or whatever, and the Chiefs are capitalized on it, and it just sows in doubt. Now, obviously, they can still get here, but they'll go back, look at the tape. Fans and media throughout the week, as this is what we do, we'll go back to talking about, well, the last time these two teams played, Kansas City stumped a mud hole in them. So people would have more doubt about Tampa Bay in this game than they do right now, because right now there are a lot of people who think Tampa Bay can win this ball game based off of what took place in November. All I'm saying is if Kansas City had dominated, you come back and you have a rematch this time around, you're not thinking that they're going to have a chance to win this game.
Well, of course they have a chance. They're playing in the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers, whether they got hammered by the Chiefs the first time around or whether they lost by 2, it does not matter. It doesn't matter how many points you win by. They're in the Super Bowl for a reason. They were the best team in the NFC. At the end of the day, that's what matters. It doesn't matter if you dominate them the first game. Then what's the point? If they would have dominated them the first game, then why would they even show up for the Super Bowl if they think they're going to get beat? They don't have that mindset. They have Tom Brady. They have.
Okay. Hold on. I'm glad you said they have Tom Brady. So to that point, because they have Tom Brady, Sterling, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who did you have coming and playing in the Super Bowl this season?
Sure, I had the Saints.
Okay. Now the Saints had Drew Brees, but you just got through saying that the Bucs, they got Tom Brady. Now I want to know from you who at the station had Chiefs versus Bucs.
I mean, you.
Okay.
But zero to do with the conversation, Darren.
Hold on. And why? Because they got Tom Brady. So I just want to point that out to how you're saying that because the Bucs didn't get blown out, or even if they got blown out, they're still here. They got Tom Brady. Well, because you're pumping Tom Brady up. You wasn't feeling this way before the season when Tom Brady got there. And
I wasn't feeling this way about Aaron Rodgers going into this year either. I thought Aaron Rodgers was starting his decline, and he proved me wrong there too. He proved a lot of people wrong.
Okay. So basically I have to prove you wrong because I got Tom Brady and I'm on this deal before the season. But okay, I got you. So I'm with you. I'm following your logic. But look, I do want to ask you this. We look at Tampa Bay and how they got here. And of course, look, they were 14-5 coming into this game. And the question I'm curious with you is their journey of getting here. And look, I do kid you about the Super Bowl picks. We go back and forth. So I don't want people who are listening on air think that we actually fuss and fight about this. We do like a married couple, but that's just because I just have to point out when because Sterling likes to give me with analytics, and we were talking about you earlier today on some shows, Sterling, with you in the analytics. But I have to always get back to Sterling when it comes to these Super Bowl picks because I was the one that was right. But I do want to ask you, as it relates to Tampa Bay, we saw. Once they lost to Kansas City, they finally got to their bye week. And after the bye week, they've gone on to win 7 straight games. They've scored over 40 points a couple of times. I think they're averaging about maybe 36 points a ball game on their 7-game stretch. We saw what they looked like against Washington, the backup quarterback. But then you also saw Tom Brady against the New Orleans Saints. Now, again, I think it was more of a defensive effort, but Tom Brady played well in that ball game. The NFC Championship game, you had Tom Brady against Aaron Rodgers. Again, Brady, I think, played a superb first half. Second half, I thought he was trying to give the ball game away with those 3 second-half interceptions. But in their journey and getting to where they are now, becoming the first team to host a home Super Bowl game, your thoughts on the road less traveled by Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I think it's impressive what they've done, especially the way they're gelling now. I don't want to compare it to another Florida team, but to an example, the Miami Heat. You know, when they had Chris Bosh and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, it took a while for those guys to gel. Well, it took Tom Brady a while to gel with the rest of his Tampa Bay team. You can still see occasionally him and Mike Evans are off. That, 3 interceptions? I think, was he targeting Mike Evans? I think on all 3 of those, actually. He even said they're just not 100% there yet. This is his first year in this system with Bruce Arians, with all new players. So to me, it's impressive what he's able to do with all new guys. Obviously, it shows the difference between someone who takes care of the football compared to someone like Jameis Winston. I mean, this Buccaneers team had weapons, and they've re-signed some guys, brought some dudes back, added some other players. But I just think it's very impressive that we all thought, most of us at least, thought Tom Brady was on a steep decline. He proved everyone wrong and shows that if he has some weapons, he can still get it done. And that's the difference, is he had 0 weapons with the Patriots. You throw him with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate. All of a sudden you bring in Antonio Brown, and what happens? He goes back to being a, Super Bowl making caliber quarterback.
Hey, look, I love how you spelled it out, especially with him going to Tampa Bay. And just to give folks a little background, the reason why I had Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl versus the Saints and versus the Packers and Sterling and Steve and a few others. You all had great reasons as to why you went there. I thought the same thing that you literally just pointed out. Tom Brady can actually. Hold on. I'm sorry. Tom Brady took the New England Patriots really with just Julian Edelman to the wild card game last year. Now, granted, they lost week 17 because they might have had the second seed had they not. But I do want to. But I do want to point at that because of that, Tom taking them to the playoffs, to a wild card game with no talent. I'm thinking, well, if you give Brady talent like they got in Tampa Bay, why can't he not get to the Super Bowl? Now I also said this, that Winston had that team 7-9, but he had 35 turnovers. You can't win doing that, but you still got 7 wins out of that. I figured if Tom Brady cuts it down at least half, if not 2/3, that's got to be good for 4 wins. Now, it may not win the division, but it gets you in the playoff. You get to the playoff, anything can happen. Is the way the ball bounces, and that's what they did. Let's take a quick timeout. When we come back, Sterling, on the Red Zone, we'll talk about some of the news as it relates to the Chiefs getting ready to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 55. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to the Red Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB. This is Kevin Harlan. I'll have the call with Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner on Super Bowl Sunday when the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's Patrick Mahomes against Tom Brady. Tune in to hear all the action right here on your official home for Super Bowl 55. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Tim Grunhard. I love being a part of a winning team. If you are looking for a great place to work and want to help children and families find hope and joy, the Kids TLC in Olathe is hiring team players. Visit kidstlc.org and attend one of the upcoming recruiting events. Come join the Kids TLC team for a game-changing career move. Visit kidstlc.org for more information.
Stop by Premier Mazda of Kansas City today and save thousands. Right now, 0.9% APR for up to 60 months plus $500 APR customer cash on any new 2021 Mazda CX-5. Premier Mazda of Kansas City is your local source for amazing deals on your favorite vehicles. Right now, lease a 2021 CX-5 Sport for just $257 a month for 36 months. You can't go wrong when you buy from Premier Mazda of Kansas City, home of the Premier Promise. Right past State Line and 135th or at PremierMazdaKC.com. See dealer for details.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Right now at Audi Shawnee Mission, experience why the Season of Audi sales event is the best time to get yourself the vehicle of your dreams. See their entire selection online at AudiShawneeMission.com or come take a test drive at Audi Shawnee Mission off I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway. Come experience their new state-of-the-art facility and check out the best deals of the year. You can't beat the great deals at Audi and supporting our hometown team as they march through the playoffs. Shopping at Audi of Shawnee Mission is a fun, stress-free experience for every type of driver. Explore their current inventory online at AudiShawneeMission.com. You'll find new Audi models matching your exact preferences with their handy search tools. Audi Shawnee Mission frequently updates the new Audi specials page so you can see the best offers on their most popular Audi vehicles. Put yourself behind the wheel of the new Audi you've always wanted at Audi Shawnee Mission, off I-35 and Shawnee Mission Parkway, or online at AudiShawneeMission.com. Audi of Shawnee Mission. Feel what it's like to drive the rings.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. The law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Super Bowl 55 is finally almost here, and immediately after the game and the Lombardi Trophy presentation here on Sports Radio 810, we'll kick off the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show presented by CBD American Shaman and Operating Engineers Local 101. We'll break down all the action, take your calls, hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, all the Chiefs from the podium, even more guys from the Buccaneers side, and that all starts immediately after the Lombardi Trophy is presented right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to the Red Zone special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I am Darren Smith with you until 8 o'clock locally, 9 o'clock down here in Tampa. Of course, Sterling Holmes is joining me in the studio. We'll be joined at the top of the hour by the great Soren Petro, who whose show, the program Sterling, was named one of the top 10 shows, one of the top 10 sports shows on radio for the afternoon drive. So congrats to him, and we'll talk to him in the second hour and get his thoughts as it relates to Sunday's game and everything that has taken place throughout the season and this week. But Sterling, it was revealed today that Daniel Kilgore, returned along with DeMarcus Robinson yesterday from the reserve COVID-19 list. The Chiefs have activated tight end Deion Yelder from the injured reserve, and they also promoted 3 players from the practice squad, including Matt Moore, Marcus Kemp, and Chris Lamon. So, and also, as expected, Eric Fisher, along with the rookie linebacker Willie Gay, were placed on the injured reserve. So I ask you, how does this affect the game for the Chiefs tomorrow?
Well, for me, Willie Gay Jr. is a decent-sized loss. We know that. We know Eric Fisher is a big loss at left tackle. The Chiefs have been playing without Mitchell Schwartz for most of the season now, it seems like, so they're used to this. I think the impact of Mike Rimmers needs to be talked about way more. The fact that he was able to play snaps at right guard, right tackle, and now at left tackle speaks volumes about his work ethic and his versatility. He hasn't been, and I don't want to throw someone under the bus, but say Cam Irving last year. Cam Irving struggled. That was a noticeable drop-off when Cam Irving was inserted into the lineup. Once Rimmers was inserted, we don't even really notice him, and that's good. If you're not noticing an offensive lineman, typically that's a good sign. So I think Mike Rimmers needs a lot more credit. I think Brett Veach needs a lot more credit. I think Andy Heck needs a lot more credit for getting this offensive line put together, which is, I don't want to say a patchwork offensive line, but you're dealing with a lot of undrafted guys, late-round draft picks, dudes who were cut and all of a sudden came to Kansas City. By the way, Wisniewski, he was cut by the Steelers this year, and now he's back in Kansas City. So I think what they've done with this offensive line needs to be talked about more, and I think that those 2 injuries to the tackles it may not even hurt Kansas City as much as a lot of people in the national media think.
I am going to just give you my thoughts on it because I've been saying it all week that we've been without Mitchell Schwartz, I believe, since week 6. So I can't really say that his loss in this game is going to matter because, his backup, I mean, they've been playing well since week number 6. Eric Fisher, obviously, it's never a good time for an injury like that to take place. But because it took place in the AFC Championship game, my big speech would be, if we believe Andy Reid is to be that guy, and we always tout how great his record is after bye weekend, and look, we get Andy Reid 2 weeks or whatever to plan, he's pretty much unstoppable. I think he's close to 80% clip at 19-5. Well, my thing is this. You've had, Andy Reid has had 2 weeks to plug in whoever he's going to plug in for Eric Fisher and to get the scheme, the game scheme, and everything, that takes place. Look, my big thing is that Patrick, to me, is not beholden. He's not beholden to the offensive line. Patrick's greatest attribute is what I hate the most, is that he runs outside the pocket and makes the big plays. Well, again, if you're going to pressure Patrick, all you're going to do is just force it outside the pocket, and that's where he makes his biggest play. Because if he runs outside the pocket as a defender, you have one of 2 choices: stay with the defender, allow Patrick to run, slide for a first down, or he can dump the ball off to maybe someone open underneath or to a running back in the flat. If you come up against Patrick, then you're leaving your assignment unattended to. Patrick just throws the ball over your head to that receiver, and they're off and running. So as much as the national media are making a big deal about the Chiefs not having their starting tackles and the pressure that they, that JPP and others may bring, I still believe that as long as Patrick can escape from the pressure, he'll be okay.
And again, I think the national media, that's a fair point for almost every other team. But we've seen this Kansas City team deal with this, and you're right. Patrick, not only does he have about the farthest drop back of anyone in the NFL, which we've heard from previous tackles, Jeff Schwartz, Mitchell Schwartz's brother, talks about how that can be difficult for tackles, but he is so good at evading pressure. And the fact that his passer rating in QBR is so good, whether he's in or outside of the pocket, he's almost offensive line proof. It's extremely impressive how good he's able to do this. And if they don't give him enough time, all that means is probably a heavier dose of Travis Kelce and Sammy Watkins. I mean, for being honest here, that's what that means.
So you said a heavy dose of Sammy Watkins, right?
Well, I mean, because typically Tyreek's your deep guy. Sammy Watkins is more your intermediate threat. So, I mean, if Sammy has a big game, trust me, I am not going to be surprised at all.
No. And I wasn't saying that to be funny because, again, people have asked me the X factor for the Chiefs, and I'm still, I still got to side with really it being the health of Sammy Watkins. If Sammy Watkins is healthy and he's on the field, again, I can't compute it in my head and calculate it, but it's like somehow, some way, the Chiefs' offense is much better when Sammy Watkins is on the field than when he's not. My problem is he's never on the field.
I've told you, it's the Alcides Escobar effect. Sammy Watkins is the Alcides Escobar of this team. Where, for example, in 2014, 2015, he was a fine player, but he was no superstar. Sammy Watkins is kind of the same aspect where you put him in the lineup, you don't know why necessarily. He's not going to, get probably 10 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns consistently by any means. But when he's in the lineup, he blocks well, does the right things, and somehow the Chiefs' offense plays better. Samuel Alcides Escobar, you put him into the starting lineup, hit him leadoff, made no sense, but the Royals won. Sammy Watkins is Alcides Escobar.
That's a pretty fair assessment that you put out there. You look again. I think that if he's healthy, or at least if he's healthy, I think he starts. Now I'm curious, because he hasn't played since week 16, whether or not Andy throws him throws him in the starting lineup. But to your point, obviously you cannot. Well, I guess technically you can. You can try to double Tyree. You can try to double Travis Kelce. But then, of course, that's where Sammy Watkins was known as playoff Sammy because of the big game that he had against the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game when they shut down both Kelce and Hill, and he had the big game along with Damian Williams. So, I'm interested to see just how much the running game becomes a factor. Earlier this week on the Zoom calls, Le'Veon Bell, I've been touting him all season. He said this is as healthy as he's been all season. Now, granted, a lot of people say, well, he hadn't touched the ball much, so he should be healthy going into Sunday's game. I am curious to you, Sterling. What are you expecting from our running game? Obviously, I know that you're someone who's not big on the running backs, but to your point, people have said for Tampa Bay to beat Kansas City, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, they have to have a big game because obviously they feel like, they come back to what I talk about, time of possession, keeping Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Of course, I have to kind of point them out. The flip side is that the Carolina Panthers won the time of possession almost 2-1, and Kansas City still outscored them 33-31. So what are you looking forward to see from our running backs?
Again,
I'm sorry, and I know you got to answer quick because I know we got to go to break.
Yeah, well, first, time of possession I still think is one of the absolute worst and most outdated, antiquated ways to determine who's going to win a football game. But I think Darrell Williams is going to have the best and biggest impact of the three backs. That's just Matt right now. I think it's another D. Williams out running back who is going to steal the show. It's nothing against Le'Veon. It's nothing against Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but just the way the running back carries have trended recently, I think it'd be hard to bet against Darrell Williams. It's tough to take him out when he's been so effective. I mean, at this point, Darrell the Barrel's got to stick.
Darrell the Barrel, okay, that'll work. Now, the one thing I do want to say, though, if he had the type of ball game, if there's any question who the MVP is tomorrow after the game with the Chiefs win, I'm blaming you for it. Let's take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Soren Petro for the second hour on the Red Zone special right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 55 is coming to America's largest all-sports radio station, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa
as the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Do you have a frog, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
No rise happens without a reason. Whether we're rising to meet a moment or the moment comes to meet us, we make our mark by showing up for our team. And when we do, we build something special. We become something bigger, more than something that can be defined on a map. We become a community with a shared understanding that when we rise together, we rise higher. Community America, powering the rise of Kansas City.
Today on Hey Culligan, cleaner, safer drinking water. We got Chris in Cleveland.
Hey Culligan, I have a water pitcher. Is that safe?
Basic water pitchers are, let's say, passable, but a Culligan reverse osmosis system can do way more and help reduce lead, arsenic, pesticide runoff.
Hey Culligan?
Yeah, Chris?
I'll take one of those
reverse osmosis to get the hostas out of your drinking water. Chris, we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
The Kansas City Comets are back in action on Monday night, February 12th at 7 p.m. at Cable Dahmer Arena against the St. Louis Ambush. Kansas City Comets soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family. And parking is always free at Cable Dahmer Arena. And this season, all seats are socially distanced for fan safety. Get your tickets today for the Kansas City Comets versus the St. Louis Ambush on Friday, February 12th by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting Ticketmaster.com.
Kansas City's hometown sports station, Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Welcome back to the Red Zone special here on Sports Radio 810 at WHB. The show just got a little bit smarter, got a little bit wiser. We have on the phone with us Soren Petro. He is host of the program. You can catch him weekdays from 2 to 6 o'clock p.m. But before we go further, I will be remiss because I haven't had a chance to talk to him since he was named top 10, number 8, on the Bear Sports Media's top 20 mid-market afternoon shows in the nation. So I do want to send out my congratulations to you, Soren Petro, and just give you a quick chance to promote yourself and gloat about the program being named top 10.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And for Curtis and Jed, who, do so much stuff, they do a lot of stuff in front of the scenes too, but just a ton of stuff behind the scenes that just make it so much easier. You know this, you got to have good people around you to have any kind of success. And I think it's cool. Listen, we're just happy that Kansas City hasn't kicked us out of town after this long, especially me and Curtis. Jed hadn't been out front for as long as we have, but we're thrilled that we get to talk about the teams we love, that we grew up with, and in the town that we love, and been able to do it this long. So hopefully that buys us a few more weeks here on 810.
I know that's right. And please, if you get a chance, if you're on social media, follow Soren Petro at Soren Petro on Twitter as well. Of course, once again, tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And, of course, he is also, for those of y'all who may be living under a rock, he also hosts the pregame show, the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame.
Of the Midwest,
yeah. And so you can hear him tomorrow live at 1 o'clock tomorrow. He'll actually be following me from the Red Zone special tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we bring you 24 straight hours of Chiefs pregame coverage. But, Soren, I want to jump right into things. I think I had you on before the season when I was doing the Sunday show with the Ship. Yep. I want you to look back on the season to where we are today. Any surprises? What was your original Super Bowl pick? And are you shocked that the season got completed as scheduled?
My pick was 14-2, Chiefs winning it all. And I think I had them beating the Saints, though, so I whiffed over on the NFC side. And my biggest surprise, that's interesting. What was the biggest surprise? Just things that were a little different than what I thought would be. I thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire would have bigger numbers, but I understand why he didn't, and I'm not disappointed in his production. I just thought maybe they'd lean on him more at certain times. That was a little surprising. The fact that Travis Kelce took his game to a whole nother level, yes. I didn't predict it, but it doesn't surprise me. Tyreek Hill going to another level, I believe. I think maybe over on the defensive side, Frank Clark I thought was primed to have a big year, and I thought was really going to have a big sack year. Doesn't mean he can't finish off the year strong and play well in this Super Bowl. And he does a lot of things that beyond just rush the passer, so much better against the run and setting the edge than what Dee Ford was. No disrespect meant towards Dee Ford, but just Frank Clark is a much more physical player there at setting the edge. Surprised that the linebacking core played as well as it did. I don't know about you, Darren, but I really think the Chiefs' defense is not getting enough run and conversation, and they're used to it. The Chiefs' offense sucks up all the oxygen in the room, right, when they're on somewhere. So I don't think they're bothered by it. But, when I keep hearing Bucks D, Bucks D, Bucks D, I don't even think it's the best defense in this game. I think the Chiefs' defense is better.
But it's funny to that point. I kind of like it that the Bucks D is getting all the conversation, because then when the Chiefs come out and the defense do what we expect them to do, then all the talk will shift back to what Kansas City did, which again would be a surprise, nothing that we're not used to. I would say that, because thinking about what you were talking about, I think the only surprise, and people would think I'm crazy, because that the fact that the team possibly could have gone 16-0 leading into this game. Obviously, the game against the Raiders, if they don't have those 2 touchdowns called back early in the first quarter of the ball game, maybe the game is called differently the rest of the way, with the Chiefs up 14-0 versus being down and then trying to scrap their way back up. And then, of course, they just had to, they decided they didn't have anything to play for in week number 17. So to me,
there was one guy back in preseason that was asking questions and had people kind of roll their eyes a little bit. Who was it? I can't remember who talked about a perfect season. I'm on the air with him right now. I'm talking to him. You were the first guy to say that, I remember. And, everyone was kind of like, oh, come on, man. Nobody goes undefeated. But you're right. They weren't far, right? And if they needed that last game for the perfect season, I think Andy Reid's the kind of guy that knows history and would have gone for it. So, and doesn't it, like, 3 points against the Bucs for a team that was 14-1? They only lost one time when they tried. I'm still trying, and my buddies are telling me that the money's coming in on Tampa, so they're starting to lay, 110, 120 on the Bucs now, because they don't want to, Vegas doesn't want to move off the 3-point line.
Right.
But you're talking about a team that, as you said, they had the ability to and almost did go undefeated, and yet still people are kind of jumping on the Bucs right now.
Look, speaking of that spread, are you now? I'm shocked. I don't know how Vegas operates, but to me, if you got 2 bettors alone that bet almost a combined $6 million on one team, should that not move the point spread or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vegas likes it at 3. I think Vegas thinks this is going to be a 3-point game, that they don't want any exposure on half. I think they're afraid that if they go to 2.5, they're going to get an avalanche of Chiefs money from sharp guys that are holding and waiting to make their bets. And I think they feel like if they go to 3.5, they're going to get an avalanche of Tampa Bay money. So they want to hold it right there at 3, and then they're just moving, how much you got to lay. Maybe you're getting, plus 105 or minus 105 on the Chiefs and having to lay minus 115 to win 100 on the Bucs. And that's kind of how they're moving it. But yeah, those big bets, wherever they went in at those locations, I'm sure that the lines, or at least the number you're having to lay, it definitely was affected by that kind of bet.
Yeah, and of course, as many people know this week, my original pick was the 2 teams that we see right here, right now, the Bucs against the Chiefs. I'm curious your thoughts on Super Bowl week leading up to tomorrow's game. How do you feel about the Zoom calls, the pressers, the NFL commissioner's presser, DeMaurice Smith, the presser? His presser. To the league. How did you think, how this week was unfolding, that you got a chance to cover and watch and listen to on the station?
I think, like the season, the NFL deserves a lot of credit, because the season went better than I thought it was going to. I'm not missing a game, particularly after we watched what baseball went through and the concept of guys running into each other out on the field, but we've come to learn that, largely the spreading of the virus takes place in what do they call it? The meeting, greeting, and eating areas. And so, the NFL did a remarkable job of that. And I thumbs up to what they were able to pull off for this. I know for us being local markets, they really took care of the local folks in getting questions in with the Kansas City guys. Didn't get one in with the Tampa guys, but all the Tampa guys got their questions in, and then they served the national interest as well. So I thought they did a really good job. I think they did as good of job as you could do under the circumstances. And we still got a lot of questions, a lot of quotes, got some subplots, right? Got some subheadings that were out there, whether it was talking about JPP not knowing who Mike Remmers was, or, we got a little bit of that Super Bowl week of experience. And of course, we're going to get the game, which is what America really wants, and certainly can always use any kind of distraction as we continue to try to make our way through this wild time in our history. So, yeah, I was impressed. I mean, is it ideal? No, but I think for those of us in Kansas City, we probably got more access than we would have in a normal situation.
I tell you, I know you mentioned about Tom Brady. I actually got a question into Brady on Monday. I guess that would have aired during the NFL opening night. But as soon as they came to me, I'm asking my question, but I guess my audio didn't come through. So Brady was like, well, I guess Darren is on another Zoom. I'm like, no, I'm right here, Tom. But it did. And then what's interesting, you talked about Kansas City reporters not getting questions in to Tampa Bay. Well, hell, I got a question into the commissioner and DeMoores, but I couldn't get a question into any of the Kansas City Chiefs people. So it's it's interesting how that, but that's a story for another day. But I do want to ask you, looking at it from 30,000 feet, how do you think this rematch differs from Week 12 when the Chiefs won 27-24?
Well, some of the players that are in and some of the players that are out are obviously the biggest part. Vita Vea is in, Eric Fisher's out, right? That's going to be a big difference in the trenches with the matchup there, and I think it's something that most people are focusing on. I don't know that I don't think the difference between the two sides is as pronounced as they make it out to be. I think the Chiefs' offensive line, what they're going to play with, is being underrated. While they've lost 5 starters, well, 5 guys that were in the game. They weren't 5 starters from the beginning of the year, but they've lost 5 players. There's no doubt they don't have the same kind of firepower and talent that they had when they started the season. Losing Schwartz and Eric Fisher is big, but I think they're underrating the ability of Andrew Wiley to move out to tackle. I think they're underrating how well Mike Remmers has played for this team. And Stefan Wisniewski steps in. He started a year ago in the Super Bowl. So it's not like they're, digging like Cleveland, a guy that nobody knew, right? They played in their first playoff game, put an offensive lineman out there that Baker Mayfield said he had just met a couple of days before he was in the huddle with them. So they're in a better situation than I think people realize. But, that's going to be one key difference. How much better, how well can they handle the rush of the Bucs? And if the offensive line can't handle 4, does that give the Bucs the ability to drop more into coverage? Does that give them a chance to try to bracket Tyreek Hill and really limit, slow down what he did? He was so impressive in that first quarter against the Bucs. And so I think that's a big difference. But I also think Juan Thornhill is playing better ball for the Chiefs, and that's an important part of the equation. And the secondary of the Chiefs is playing so confidently. And the corners, they really do go 4 starting corners deep, 2 top shelf safeties. Dan Sorensen does the little things up in that third down linebacker role. I think Anthony Hitchens continues to play his best season as a Kansas City Chief. So, if Frank Clark has a day, and we know Frank Clark can have a day, I think the Chiefs are going to be tough to stop on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Chris Jones is going to play well. If it's Jones and Clark, it's going to be a long day for the Bucs.
I'm going to talk about Jones and Clark a little bit later on in this hour, but we are joined right now by Soren Petro. He is host of the program. You can tune in weekdays 2 to 6 p.m. Central. Again, he was recently named one of the top 10 sports shows in the country for the afternoons. And again, congratulations to my big guy with us. Sterling, go ahead with your question.
So we keep hearing about this Buccaneers defense, even guys like Carlton Davis for a bad breakfast being burnt toast. We don't hear about the Chiefs secondary very often, which has been the best in the NFL on 10-plus yard passes downfield. What's it going to take before people start taking the secondary seriously? I get it. They don't have any high draft picks. Javarius Ward's undrafted. What's it going to take?
Probably a big contract for the corners. Tyrann Mathieu gets plenty of acclaim. I think there are a lot of people in the NFL circles, and this is not a negative. This is not laziness or anything, but if you cover the Jacksonville Jaguars, why should you know who L'Jarius Sneed is, right? If you don't play the Chiefs, he's a 4th-round pick. He wasn't highly drafted, right? That's the other thing that keeps them out of the limelight is they weren't. Juan Thornhill was a 2nd, right, but not a 1st-rounder. 6th or 7th for Rashad Fenton. I forget which one he was. 4th for L'Jarius Sneed. Bashad Breeland was kind of an by-the-way signing for the Chiefs. Charvarius Ward acquired in a trade, undrafted by the Cowboys, and then acquired in a trade for an offensive lineman the Chiefs were going to cut. So there was no fanfare. They don't have that blue blood, notoriety that being the number 5 overall pick in the draft that everybody looked at mock drafts for 5 months for and became familiar with the name. And then, just if you're not playing the Chiefs And when you do play the Chiefs, all the conversation is about Patrick Mahomes. It's about Tyreek Hill. It's about Travis Kelce. So they really kind of go anonymously about their business. So if L'Jarius Sneed gets to, or Charvarius Ward signs a 4-year, $20 million deal, he'll kind of get on the radar screen. If L'Jarius Sneed is going to keep playing the way he has and be the Swiss Army knife that can play the slot, can play outside, can blitz, is getting sacks, is getting picks, you're talking about a big-time contract for L'Jarius Sneed in 3 years, or really probably in 2 years, this year, next year, 22, and then they would be due to give him an extension before he gets to the free agent market. That's what really gets people noticed when they see that ticker, like, oh, my God, this guy got $78 million or he got $85 million. I better go see who this guy is and figure out what's going on. But right now, they're a great example of Brett Veach's success in how we called it stars and Jags, right? And no offense meant to the guys, but just a guy. When you have as many big contracts and stars as the Chiefs do, you're going to have to fill in with a lot of guys that at least have Jag contracts. They may not play like a Jag, but they're going to have to get paid like a Jag. And so to have the depth that they have in that secondary, like I said, 4 corners that rank in the top 52. There's 64 starting corners, all 4 of the Chiefs corners. So 96 if you count the nickel, right? If you go that deep, all 4 of the Chiefs corners grade in 51, 52, between 20 and 52. So that's remarkable depth to have when you're paying all these stars around, to have the depth. If this offensive line can have a solid day, maybe come close to a push with the Bucs defensive line, to have that kind of depth that you can lose the stars that they've lost on that offensive line and still be that deep in the secondary and get done what they need to get done to win it is really a remarkable testament to Brett Veach and his staff. And I think that secondary is by far the shining star.
Soren, I got to ask you this, and we're on the Zoom calls together daily, and from time to time our questions veer in different directions. But I like the way that you take your questions, which is why I'm posing this one to you. What in particular will you be looking for that may not get a lot of attention in tomorrow night's game?
You going in, but maybe we're going to see a lot of it during the game, you mean?
Yeah. And like I said, for you, in your opinion, what are you going to be looking for, throughout the game?
Yeah.
That again, that we may not, Tony Romo might not focus on, but you're looking for in particular to, that might, feed to the Chiefs winning and losing that you'll point out post game or something.
I think Derek Noddy, Mike Pennell against the run, being able to things. I just said the secondary doesn't get a lot of run, but I think you're going to get a lot of conversation from Tony Romo about the Chiefs secondary. So to Sterling's point, this may be their coming out party because Tony Romo may spend all night every time they're on deep talking about it. So maybe this is where they get the recognition. But I think the one part no one's talking about is the run of the Bucs, and I think that's largely because the Chiefs have validated what a lot of analytics guys have said for a while, that this idea that you have to establish the run, you have to have a good day running the ball, is not necessarily true. The adage that you now throw to win and run when you're winning is reality. But I do think there's an element that the Bucs and Bruce Arians may say, look, I can't – Tom can't just shoot it out with downfield throws, right? If the score's going to go back and forth, I need a balanced offense so that when Brady is taking a shot down the field, it's a surprise and a guy maybe can get some separation, because Brady's not going to throw the kind of frozen ropes that Mahomes does 40 yards down the field. He's going to have to kind of, they lollipop a lot more. And so that's a lot of time for safeties to get over or corners to recover. And so if you can get the run game going and get the Chiefs looking in the backfield, then I think that's going to be big for the Bucs. And I think it balances the playing field. They won't win because of it. I guarantee you if they win the game, the biggest plays will be made by Tom Brady and their passing offense. But they can set those up with the running game. And Derek Noddy and Mike Pennell and Chris Jones have done a fine job. But Chris Jones does everything we expected from him. But those guys have done a really nice job of not only playing the run well, but playing the run so well that the Chiefs can sit in nickel, can sit in dime, can get those extra DBs out on the field to really take away the big plays. So if Derek Noddy, who has probably had the best season no one's talking about here in Kansas City, and by the way, is a guy that they're going to need to try to get signed here very soon. He's due up after this next year, so that probably this offseason they would love to get something done with him if they can carve out enough room under the cap. But those guys win, and those guys handle Leonard Fournette and make Tom Brady one-dimensional. And I just don't see how Brady can beat him. When the Chiefs know he's got to throw, if he's facing 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 8 and those kind of things, because Derek Nottie and Mike Pinnell, and then behind them, Anthony Hitchens, who's had his finest season as a Chief, a lot of it because of how well the guys have played in front of him, then I think it's a really long day for the Bucs. So, we've gotten away from thinking about, stopping the other team's run because the Chiefs do it sometimes. Sometimes they don't. Doesn't seem to matter. I think it'll matter a little bit in this one to try to make Brady one-dimensional, and they'll get the takeaways from Brady with interceptions if they can do that.
Soren, I really appreciate the fact that you talked about the run. I know Sterling's head is about to explode on camera, but Sterling, go ahead with your question.
Darren knows I'm all about EPA and I pass first offenses, but when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs and their running situation, who do you think has the biggest impact? We know Le'Veon Bell has not quite had the impact that we all expected. Clyde is back, but Darrell Williams has really taken this thing. Another D. Williams was my pick for the breakout in the Super Bowl. Which running back makes a bigger difference?
I think if he's healthy, it's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Eric Eager from Pro Football Focus, says Darrell Williams is the exact kind of running back that he loves. It's a running back with a self-esteem problem. And he means that jokingly. Yeah. His point is that if you're like, hey, I'm not sure I'm good enough to be on this team, or I'm not sure that, that I'm going to make this team, or that they might not cut me, you do all the little things. And that's what Darrell Williams does. He's kind of a Dan Sorensen over on the offensive side. You need somebody to block, he blocks. You need somebody to catch the ball, he catches the ball. You get him 5 by handing him the ball, and the blocking's giving him 5. He gets 5.5 or 6. He never gives you a -2 because he's trying to bust a big play. He keeps the chains moving. He's a good quality all-around player on the offense, and of course he plays special teams as well. But I think he's a great back to have in tandem. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the guy that can take 5 and make it 25, and he can take 10 and make it 50. I think there is big playability, and I think if he's healthy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to have the bigger day. Darrell Williams will have a role in this offense, no doubt, and he will be out there. But this, to me, I kind of feel like the Bucs can't possibly let Tyreek Hill torch them again. If they do, Todd Bowles, I don't think he would be fired, but there would be Bucs fans calling for it. If Tyreek Hill goes for 250 and 2 or 3 touchdowns again, they're going to say, listen, you had all this time to prepare, and you got beat by him again. I just think it's human nature that they're going to throw everything at stopping Tyreek Hill. And when they do that, that means lighter boxes with safeties back. And I think the Chiefs have proven against the Texans in the opener at Buffalo in the first matchup with the Buffalo Bills that if you want to play a light box, they'll take it. They'll run the ball right down the field. And I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I've said on a couple of shows around the country where we got talking about prop bets, that I would take the over Mahomes, the over Darrell Williams, and the over Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the rushing. And I think you're going to win at least 2 of those 3, if not all 3 of them, because none of them are very big. It's like 20.5 for Mahomes, maybe 31 for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and like 38 for Darrell Williams. I think this team is going to run for over 100 yards because I think the Bucs are going to count on their front 4 to get upfield. Their front 4 is going to be going upfield, and I think draws are going to gash them for some big plays on the ground for the Chiefs.
Soren, you may not know, but I'm jotting down what you just said about taking the over on those prop bets. So I will be doing that during the break. So look, stay with us. We'll come back with more with Soren Petro, host of the program, with us on the Red Zone special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to 1 gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
There's no room for quitters on a job site, not on the crew and not in the toolbox. When a job gets tough, I respond with force. My Master Force tools deliver power, performance, and durability that doesn't quit. Tools like my 20-volt cordless hammer drill. The brushless motor technology in that drill gives me up to 30% more power and 1.5 times the battery life. Professionals need tools they can rely on. Masterforce Tools, available at Menards.
Get your Valentine's something special this year, the best version of you. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic today for their $49 Valentine's Day special. Don't let erectile dysfunction stop you. Be the man you know you can be and take action now. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic at 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189 and schedule your private consultation for only $49. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
Do you have a frog, a freezing room over the garage? Now that everyone is home, are you looking to convert your frog into an office, a schoolroom, or a comfortable room to escape your family? With no ductwork required, Mitsubishi Electric offers room-by-room air filtration and precise temperature control. Let's help you turn those cold, uncomfortable spaces in your house into a space you and your family will really enjoy. To learn more about Mitsubishi Electric's solutions, visit keepkccool.com today. Now, they can help you whether you need to heat it up or cool it down. Mitsubishi's got you covered. Our biggest problem here in the Sports Radio 810 control room and studio was the heat. We've got a lot of windows and a lot of radio equipment, and our Mitsubishi unit has kept us cool for years. It works like a charm, and it works quickly, and it's whisper quiet. It's been a real game changer for us at Sports Radio 810. Check them out at keepkccool.com. That's keepkccool.com today.
Welcome back to the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Darren Smith with you until 8 o'clock p.m. local, 9 p.m. here in Tampa, joined by Soren Petro, the host of the program, along with Mr. Sterling Holmes back in studio. Soren, I want to get back to things, and when I ask you this, but are you surprised that a lot of people are picking the Bucs because they actually fear betting against Brady again in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Eric Eager called it a Brady tax. That's why the line is only 3. I personally think this line ought to be like 6.5. It is at Tampa, so I guess you could say, okay, 3 points for home field. Maybe that's where it was going to be, right at 6. If this game were played, in Pasadena or New Orleans or something like that on a neutral field. So you can read into that, but it's we know no home game has been a true home game, and certainly this is even less of one with the tickets that are going to be given to people that theoretically are not Bucs or Chiefs fans. I think there'll be plenty of Chiefs fans down there in the stands to try to even out the crowd a little bit. So, it does concern me that I can't figure out why they've got the number down. But I think a lot of it is just people have tried to pick against Brady for a long time, and he always seems to beat him. People have tried to say Brady's done, and he always seems to still have a big game left in him. And so I'm sure there's some fear of that. But, I heard the goat and the baby goat. Right, the baby goat's on the other side, and people don't have the same number of bets that Patrick Mahomes has cost them, where they tried to find the time that he wasn't going to beat him, and maybe because he's still popular, people aren't looking so hard for a reason to try to see him lose. Brady's been around so long. I think there's audience fatigue, better fatigue on Brady, and so they want to see him lose, so they work backwards. Okay, I want him to lose. What's a way he could do it? They convince themselves of it, and they go out and bet against him. But there's a guy who's better than Tom Brady on the other side, and so and all he has to do is almost just win the game. I mean, 3 points is virtually just winning the game, and he's going to get you there, or at least he's going to tie you, push you the bet. So yeah, I'm not following why so many people are on.
Yeah, look, we'll talk a little bit a little bit later about legacy for quarterbacks. I'm of the proponent that Patrick is one of the few people who in life will get a second chance to make a first impression. I don't think that he had the type of game that he was hoping to have last year in his first Super Bowl. I think a lot of fans and people who cover the team like we do, thought that we might see a 2018 performance by Patrick Mahomes where he comes out there, throws 6 touchdowns, even against a defense as stellar as the 49ers was in that game. Do you foresee a scenario where in this game, basically based off of what we saw in November, that Patrick could have that type of performance, a 2018 type performance where he has 5 or 6 touchdowns in this ball game?
Yeah, what I mean, 460 something and 3 touchdowns and no INTs he had against the Bucs the first time around. I mean, you don't have to look very far to find a reason as to why he could torch this team. That Bucs secondary is not very good. The Chiefs have proven that they've got way more firepower than that secondary can handle, and it's the Bucs' only hope. And I get tired of hearing about it, but it does have to be discussed again and again and again, especially when you have 2 weeks to talk about the game leading up to it. That Bucs front four. I mean, I still cannot figure out how or why the Raiders, who are an awful defense and are terrible at rushing the passer, were able to have 4 guys and consistently get to the quarterback. And I think that was week 5, right?
Yeah.
And Mitchell Schwartz, I believe, went down in week 6, and he was clearly hurting. I think that's one of the biggest things was Mitchell Schwartz was playing hurt and could not handle the lefty end of the Raiders, and there were a couple of sacks for him that day, and that is the recipe. If you can do that, if you can consistently pressure Mahomes while also somewhat containing him, that's what makes it hard. Like you got to get pressure on Mahomes. If you get pressure up the middle, he evades up to the outside, and to either direction he can throw. There's Lamar Jackson. You really got to just kind of make him go left, and then he's going to run it. He's not going to throw it on the left. When he goes right, he might throw it, he might run it. But Mahomes is the guy that can throw it running left or right. And so if he can get out of the pocket, you're beat. So you got to try to contain on the outside and keep him in the pocket and get to him. It's really difficult. And then he's become so smart at picking up your blitzes. You hear him now. What a great year we've had. And I know I'm going to have a lot of fun in the offseason going back and watching every single game just to listen to what Mahomes is saying at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Because every game you can hear him, 48's a big, 48. And he's calling out and he's assigning the 5th offensive lineman to who they're identifying as the big. And, you watch and sure enough, here comes 48. He's coming on a blitz. Mahomes had picked out who was coming on the blitz. 24. He's calling out where the blitz is coming from, and so he's got protection there. Or he's moving his running back over. He changes his running back from one side to the other, and sure enough, here comes a blitz off the side that he moved the running back to. He's gotten so smart. His comments in the shop on the show, the shop, where he sat there on LeBron's show and said, "Listen, I don't see the field like Brady and Manning, but I'm getting there. I'm learning. I'm going to get there, and when I do." It's going to be, that's when I'm going to be at my absolute best. Well, he's made big strides. He is now seeing the field. He's calling out the defenses before they do it. And, the Bucs, they'll play some zone. And, I think they're a little bit easy to kind of figure out what they're going to do. They've had 2 weeks. Maybe they disguise it better in this game. But it's just the Chiefs have kind of turned offensive football into NBA basketball. You're not going to have a great day or even a good day against this defense. The question is, can you act as enough of a parachute to drag that offense that your offense can have a day and outscore them? Because they're just not going to go quietly into the night. They lost to the Raiders with 32 points and a chance to get a stop and get back and get a score in the only game that they lost. And then the games, whether it was the Falcons or the Chargers or the Raiders the second time, if they needed a score late, nobody sweated it. We all knew they were going to get it. If they needed a first down late to ice the game, we all knew they were going to get it. They're just so hard to beat on the offensive side of the ball. And that offensive line does open the door, okay? But I don't see the Bucs winning without a defensive or special teams touchdown and without being at least +2 in the turnover differential.
Soren, I look, I concur everything you said. I was on shows throughout the country this week, and it was driving me crazy because everybody, was talking about the, obviously the tackles being out. Now, I don't want to poo-poo it, but I've been saying all week, and you can agree, disagree if you like, but I'm of the adage that Patrick Mahomes is not beholden to resting in the pocket like a Tom Brady does. If you like you said, if you pressure Tom Brady and the pocket folds, Brady's not going anywhere. He can't. He's not going to outrun anybody. He's just going to fold into a cheap chair and fall to the ground. Patrick Mahomes, even if you bring pressure, like you said, you get him to the outside either direction, he is going to look. The defense is going to have to make a decision. If Patrick Mahomes runs, are you gonna leave your assignment with your man and come after Patrick, where Patrick can then just overthrow your head, get the ball to the receiver, continue down the field? Or if you stay with your man, Patrick will either run, slide for a first down, or he'll drop it off to someone in the flat, whether it's a running back or a tight end, and it'll still kill you in that direction. So while Eric Fisher is out and his injury sustainable, I still believe that whether you bring pressure or not, Patrick Mahomes is as long as he's not touched, will be able to make big plays. And then the other thing is, like you said, if you blitz him, he's 97. He has a 97% QBR against the blitz, where he's damn near unstoppable. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because like you said on the shot, Patrick talked about how at the time when he was first coming in and that year he threw for 5,000 yards. He couldn't he couldn't read a defense. Now, like you said, he's been able to call out the blitzes and stuff like that left and right. So it's like, how did you defend that? And again, I keep telling everybody when they're talking about, the Bucs are going to win 27-21, I said, well, you have to score 30 to at least beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's what it takes to beat them in the regular season game, let alone the playoff game.
Yeah.
So, to where you think you're going to hold this offense down. Only way that happens is if Patrick goes out hurt like he did against the Browns, where now the defense is stepping up and they're trying to maintain that lead. I just don't see that how that happens, even without those tackles missing Sunday's game.
Yeah, and let's go a step further. I love the Pro Football Focus grades. I don't think they're the end-all, be-all. There's some of them I scratch my head and can't figure out, but they're at least trained eyes with an unbiased approach to things. Look, Mitchell Schwartz there's 64 starting tackles, 64 starting guards, 32 starting centers. So keep that in mind when I give you these numbers. An NFL starter ranks somewhere between 1 and 64. Here are where the offensive linemen are that could have played ranked, and the ones that will play ranked. At right tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, who's usually right up there in the top 5 in tackles, but this year was only 30th. They ranked 80 tackles. He was 30th because he was hurt and he wasn't playing that well. Now, Andrew Wiley's going to move out there. He ranked 61 out of 80 guards, not very good, and has some problems. I actually think he's a better tackle. And I think if he has a good game in this one, because he's 6'6", 310 pounds. That's more of a tackle size than, say, what Kelechi Osemele was, that more low-to-the-ground road grader type on the inside. I think he's going to fare fine. He fared well against Cam Jordan, against the Saints. So I think he might make himself a lot of money by playing well at tackle in this game. Move to right guard. It was Wiley who ranked number 61. Now you're gonna move in Stefan Wisniewski, and he's gonna play at that spot. So you got a guy who started in the Super Bowl last year. He didn't qualify for the rankings, but it isn't going to be much worse if it's not better than Wiley at 61. At center, you've got a guy who ranks number 13 amongst all centers in Austin Ryder. At left guard, Nick Allegretti came in this year at number 23. Again, of 64 guards, he's number 23. And then out at left tackle, Eric Fisher was ranked number 16, not number 1. He's not Jonathan Ogden. He's good tackle, don't get me wrong, but he's not number 1. Mike Remmers ranks 36th, kind of like middle of the pack, kind of like an average tackle. That offensive line is not that bad. There are offensive lines, there are GMs sitting out there that are seeing all this conversation about the Chiefs offensive line going, I'll trade them right now.
Right.
I'll take their 5 that they're going to play for my 5. And so you couple all those abilities you mentioned with Patrick Mahomes with the fact that this line is not as bad as people are giving it credit for. The Bucs are going to get him a couple of times because, there are guys that can play. And Vita Vea is a big difference, right? He will make a big difference. But I'm just not buying how this is somehow a gross mismatch between the Chiefs offensive line and the Bucs D line.
We're joined by Soren Petro, host of the program. You can hear him weekdays 2 to 6 p.m. Central, right here on Sports Radio 18 WHB. Make sure you follow Soren on Twitter at Soren Petro. Sterling, go ahead.
So, Soren, going off of what you just said with this Chiefs line, how did they do it by not, again, having high draft picks, similar to how the cornerback situation was? How did they do it by getting guys who were cut from other teams, bringing in guys like Mike Remmers, who you thought was going to be at right guard, then right tackle, now left tackle? Is this more of a identifying talent, or is this more of guys just gelling together in a good system and a good scheme?
I think it's all of it. I think, like we said earlier, Brett Veach deserves a ton of credit for going out and finding these guys. You mentioned Austin Ryder and Andrew Wiley were cut by the Cleveland Browns when they sucked. Okay, when they sucked, not this year's Browns, like 3 years ago, and they went, whoa, that's a mistake, So it's Brett Veach's staff, it's Andy Heck certainly coaching the guys up. That's part of it. Then it's Patrick Mahomes making them look good. If you can get close to a tie, Patrick Mahomes will make it a win for you by getting outside so you don't get beat, stepping up in the pocket if you're getting beat deep a little bit, moving his feet. So he helps out. And then I think Andy Reid does not get enough credit for just how diverse every single play is. I mentioned I was looking at there was who did it? Baldinger from NFL Network did a breakdown of the Bills going into the AFC Championship game of one play that the Chiefs were running against the Buffalo Bills. It was the first run play. In fact, I think it was the first run of the game, first play of the game. The Chiefs ran against the Buffalo Bills. He said, all right, here it is. And he shows it's all the offensive line going right, and Travis Kelce's coming down in on motion, and then he's blocking right. And then you have, Clyde Edwards-Helaire takes the handoff, and then he breaks it left. The flow's going right. He goes left, and he goes for like 14 yards to open the game. Then he showed it later in the game and the variations. They ran it that same way again, but then you start noticing, wait a minute, there's a Tyreek Hill reverse behind it or McCole Hardman behind it. And I started watching and looking at all the different things. It's an RPO. Mahomes could pull it out and look to throw. There's receivers that have routes on the outside. Then not only is Kelce coming through to block, but it's very easy to turn that into a shovel pass. So if you're a defensive lineman, if you're an offensive lineman in Andy Reid's system, they run a look that they show it to you once, and it's a run bouncing it to the left. They show it to you again, it's a run going with the flow to the right. They show it to you again, it's a reverse to the wide receiver on the outside going back against the grain of where the blocking is going. They show it to you again, and it's a quick slant pass to a pattern. It's the exact same play, and there's like 7 different things that they can do off the exact same play. And I think that really helps set up the offensive lineman. Bill Snyder was fantastic. People don't, we think of great offensive coordinators in football, and we think of the route combinations and getting the ball down the field. And yes, that's part of it. But there's so much more going on there at the line of scrimmage, and the things that you're doing with your offensive linemen, and, faking the fake pulls, showing everybody going left only for the play to actually go right. The quarterback is on a naked boot going to the right side. There's so many different ways to help out the offensive linemen. And Andy Reid has every one of those tricks. He's like Bill Snyder and probably even a couple of steps down the road on what he does with his variations and all the options that force defensive linemen and linebackers to think before they take a step. And when they take a step, a lot of times it's a step in the wrong direction. And that gets that defensive end, centered up in front of the tackle and makes their job a lot easier. So it really is. It's why we love it so much. It's the ultimate team game. It's Veach and his staff. It's Andy Heck. It's Andy Reid's scheming. It's Patrick Mahomes' abilities and seeing the blitzes and getting his linemen into a spot to where they can make the right thing. There's so many different things going on all at once, and this team just does it better than everybody else.
And, it's funny because that goes into my next question that I have for you. We praise Andy Reid for his record when coming off of a bye, which I believe is 19-5. So, this week I'm telling fans, you don't need to be concerned about the Chiefs playing without Fisher and Schwartz, because if you believe in Andy Reid and how he comes off a bye week, then you have to believe that Andy Reid, with this 2 weeks to prepare to come into this game, he have those gaps fixed. And obviously all last week and this week, they implemented their game plan. They got whoever they're going to sub for Fisher in their role. The Chiefs will be okay as they head into Sunday's game. You agree? Disagree?
Patrick Mahomes has never lost a game by more than 8 points. So right there, they're going to be in the game, right? That it's impossible for them not to be in the game. Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. Again, and I'll come back around to what we said earlier, the defense. Like, even if the offensive line, like they proved against Atlanta, they could win 17-14.
Yep.
You want to play a defensive game and play it in the teens? They can do it, right? They've got the guys that can make the plays on the defensive side of the ball. The defense had to finish that game against the Falcons, and the defense finished the game. And I think that's an important part of the equation as well. And I think this defense wants a little payback. I think they're tired of hearing the Bucs talk about how, well, we really figured it out after that first quarter, and we've taken off and all these things. Well, since the Chiefs game, they're a different team, 7-0. Well, 5 of those teams had losing records. I take nothing away from the win against the Green Bay Packers. The Saints as well, they're a 12-4 team, although Drew Brees really looked like he was on fumes coming down the last quarter of the season. But, those are 2 good wins. The other 5 spare me. Spare me that they somehow became this juggernaut. They're a good football team. They deserve to be here. They've earned their right. But any thought that somehow that they have evolved into being a team that's better than the Chiefs is just simply not true. I think the Chiefs are better on special teams. They're better on offense. They're better on defense. They have the better quarterback. They have the better play caller and head coach in Andy Reid. They have the better defensive coordinator in Steve Spagnuolo. You got to go down to who has the best run stuffing nose tackle? Okay, Vita Vea is better than Derek Nottie, but Derek Nottie's really good. Okay, you can find a spot here or there. Maybe they got maybe their running back combination of Jones and Fournette is better than Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But if Edwards-Helaire is healthy, they're still really good at the running back spot. I just don't see enough matchup wins for the Bucs that they can get a victory in this game without it just being absolutely their day in the takeaways, and their day when it comes to the way the ball bounces, their day the way the refs go. Without all those things lining up, I don't see how the Bucs win this game.
I really do need a loan from Chad Boeger, because the way you just got to describing that, Soren, I'm going all in on this game tomorrow. Let's take a quick timeout. We're joined by Soren Petro, host of the program. Right here, this is the Red Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leawood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Leawood, offering primary care, family medicine, hormone replacement therapy, medical weight loss, medical aesthetics, and IV nutrient therapy. Stop by today to see everything they have to offer, including a full-service CBD American Shaman store. Start your journey at LeewoodTotalWellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
This Valentine's Hen House is your one stop for everything roses. Get the freshest dozen rose bouquet available for that special person in your life. Several colors to choose from. If you have a special request, Hen House has trained floral designers that are eager to create that unique design just for you. No waiting. Hen House has set up express checkout lanes to help you obtain roses for your sweetheart quickly and conveniently, so there's more time for romance. Get everything you need for Valentine's Day at your local Hen House.
Hindsight is 2020. 2020 was a brutal year with a lot we couldn't control. Pandemic, economy, unemployment. What can we control? Our job, our career. Don't look back with 2020 hindsight next year and see yourself in that 2020 job. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Coverage of the big game is presented by Victory Chevrolet. At Victory, we sell them all. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Online at anthonyphc.com. By CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local Shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather. And by Community America Credit Union. Score cash back like a champion with Chiefs checking only at Community America.
If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. Your orthopedic and sports injuries deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. That's kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. The University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code LOVE for a 50-cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code LOVE. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code LOVE. That's LOVE. Visit getupside.com for terms.
We're back on the Red Zone here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Darren Smith with you till 8 o'clock p.m. We're joined by Soren Petro, host of the program, weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Central. Again, you can follow Mr. Soren at Soren Petro on Twitter. Soren, look, I got to know your X factors for the game for both teams, and whose name should we be on the lookout for that should determine if either team is in trouble early on?
Well, Brady having a tough day. If the Chiefs are getting to him and he's getting the ball out late or doesn't have anywhere to go, if he starts throwing picks, then it's going to be a long day for the Bucs. So I mean, it does start with the quarterbacks. That's, I know that's not what people want to hear. That's certainly not subtle, but I think Mahomes getting off to a good start, getting into a rhythm. If Andy Reid has got the right plays, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with those first 15, which he's so famous for. People, that first 15, he's going to come right out and score. The first 15 are really designed to probe the defense, so he knows what he's getting. There's a the concept behind the first 15 is not 15 perfect plays to get a touchdown and lead 7-0. Don't get me wrong, that's something they want to accomplish as well. But it's a little bit of, it's the first round of a heavyweight championship fight. All right, what's this guy's strategy? Let's go feel him out. Let's see what he's trying to do. Is it combinations? Is he going to the body? What's he doing? Andy Reid's they're gonna come out in the zone. At some point he'll have a 4 or 5 go where everybody goes down the field and he wants to get a look at. And that's why you see him head over and look at those pictures. All right, how'd they do it? Is Devin White running down the middle of the field on the inside goes? So they're going to try to run with the linebacker. Okay, I know where that is. We go to this part of the play sheet. If you do the bubble screens, how are they going to attack that? Where do they put the safety? When you take Tyreek Hill across, are they man up on Tyreek Hill always, regardless of formation? When Tyreek Hill comes back, he'll probably line up as a running back at one point in those first 15 plays. All right, who's checking him when he's back here in the backfield? And you see Andy Reid, he pulls that marker out, and he's got the cap in his mouth, and he's making a note on the play sheet. He's writing down how they're reacting to the different formations that he's showing them. Where is it? Who is being assigned to where? And that takes them to the part on the play sheet, which is, okay, Devin White's going to try to cover the deep middle, but when we run the goes, or if they're in too deep and we run outside, he's got to run with them. Okay, we know that's there, so we run the go up the middle with Travis Kelce, and the running back's going to be wide open underneath. I go to this part of the play sheet. That's where they've almost, again, I come back to. They're almost like a basketball team. Great defense. You hold the Lakers to 98, but no one's holding them to 12. You're not winning the game 24-12. NBA basketball is going over 100. That's how good they are. Even great defense, they're going over 100. And the Chiefs have really taken offensive football to that point. So, I think watching Andy Reid, watch him probe that defense. That's something to see how he's doing that. And I think that'll be fun for fans to kind of see all the different things. He's going to show so many things right there in those first 15 plays or so. And if they're having success in moving the ball while they're probing the defense, oh, good Lord, look out. I think the second quarter should be the Chiefs. It should be where they blow it open. I know they did it in the first last time, but the second quarter is where I think they get to the Bucs, they get out in front, and they don't look back, and they have a lot of success in this game. But, I'll come back. Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell, let's see them really get into the backfield, disrupt, and give the linebackers a chance to play free and play downhill at trying to stop that run. I think that's going to be big. I really have no doubt that there's going to be stinky coverage again, to quote Tony Romo, in that D backfield. Where do they come in with the blitzes? Spagnuolo does such a great job of disguising. He's got so many guys. L'Jarius Sneed's 4.35 speed coming from that slot where he's in close and doesn't have that far to go. Is it Frank Clark? I think you're going to see a lot of stunts trying to get Frank Clark coming up the middle towards Tom Brady, who loves to step up. Are they spying with a safety when Tom likes to drop back, and then as the rush is going up him, walk is pretty much right up to the line of scrimmage, shortening the throws, giving himself a clear lane. I can see Spagnuolo with some late safety blitzes right up the middle because that's where Brady wants to go. I don't think the Bucs have an answer for everything that the Chiefs can throw out on both sides of the ball.
Which leaves final question. What's your prediction of the game, the MVP, and if you want to give quick thoughts on this quote-unquote legacy talk for both quarterbacks?
Yeah, I go 37-17 Chiefs. I'm going to walk it the way I talked it. I think they're going to.
Oh, I needed to be over 55 and
look, I could go to 37-20.
Oh, that'll
I'm
work.
happy to take it to 40-17 for you. I do think that total is going to be right about where it is because I think the Chiefs are going to have to do all the lifting to get over. But I will tell you, Eric Eager from PFF, he likes the over as well. So you've got good company. He's good at what he does on that, and so you got good company there. I think it's a lot of Patrick Mahomes. He's the heavy favorite. He'll probably win it. I would never bet it because there's no value. I got 3 bets for MVP. 50-1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think is a good one. And then Darrell Williams is also 50-1. And he could have a day. I think more so Clyde Edwards-Helaire I like a lot better, but just kind of cover your bases with both running backs. And then Chris Jones at 100-1. I could see a 2 or 3 sack day from Chris Jones, couple of passes batted down, maybe even a picking up a fumble and rumbling into the end zone. And here's one that I would love. Does a defensive player for the Chiefs score a touchdown? If you can find that somewhere, I like that bet because I think Chris Jones might be that guy. We've been talking to him for 3 or 4 years, and he keeps saying, just wait, just wait, just wait. I want to play offense. He doesn't talk about it as much. And I think he doesn't talk about it as much because they work on it. And there's something there for him. Whether, he said a long time ago he wants to throw a pass for a touchdown, catch one for a touchdown, and run one for a touchdown. I wouldn't be shocked to see him take the snap on a third or second and goal to go, from the 1, take a snap like he's going to wildcat it and barrel in, stop and throw a Tim Tebow jump pass to a wide open tight end at the back of the end zone. Like I am not going to be shocked to see Chris Jones in on the offensive side of the ball. And think about that. If he gets a couple of sacks and then scores a touchdown, he becomes the new William Refrigerator Perry darling and garners a lot of votes for the MVP. So I like him at 100-1.
As long as he's not throwing it to Patrick Mahomes, I'm all good. Soren Petro, join us on the show. Soren, thank you so much for your time tonight. I know you got a lot of things you can be doing, obviously preparing for your Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. Be sure to tune into the program Mondays through Fridays, 2 to 6 p.m. Follow Soren Petro on Twitter at Soren Petro, at Soren Petro. Soren, thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Hey, Darren, always a pleasure, buddy. Always love being on with you. Keep up the great work down there in Tampa, my friend.
Will do. We'll be right back after this time out. You're listening to the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl.
All right, buddy. I'm going to hang up.
Yes, coming to America's largest all-sports radio station. Sports Radio 810. WHB.
The road to repeat for Kansas City will run through Tampa.
As the Chiefs get set to run it back. Follow all the action right here on your home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hi, I'm Rick Edelman, and I have a feeling that retirement is on your mind. You're wondering if you've saved enough or whether your money is in the right places. You're wondering when will you be able to retire or will you be able to stay retired? And is your money sufficient so you can live in comfort and financial security for the rest of your life? You're wondering all this, but you really don't have to just wonder. You can resolve all these questions in your effort to enjoy a retirement that's everything you want it to be. And we can help. At Edelman Financial Engines, our clients are predominantly concerned about retirement, your financial security for your spouse, for your aging parents, for your children, and we can help you just like we've helped thousands of folks just like you for more than 30 years. So call us at Edelman Financial Engines at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com. And don't wonder about your retirement because we're here to help you.
Welcome to Elevated Automotive, Kansas City's most exciting new dealership. Infiniti of Kansas City has acquired Nissan to deliver Elevated Automotive, an impeccable experience featuring two smart and luxurious brands in one convenient location at I-35 and 67th Street, continuing the five-star treatment and sales experience clients have come to expect from Infiniti of Kansas City. Visit Kansas City's premier automotive shopping and service experience in the expanded Infiniti of Kansas City showroom under their new name, Elevated Automotive. Follow online on Facebook, Insta, and elevatedautomotive.com.
Check out the latest championship gear in the 810 fan shop at 810whb.com/shop. We have hoodies, long and short sleeve t-shirts, and much more. It's all just a click away. Go to 810whb.com/shop to see the whole selection. 15 is greater than 12. I'll see his ass on Sunday and run it back. Check out the latest designs now available in all sizes, including onesies. That's right, 810whb.com/shop. The 810 fan shop has something for everyone, and we have new gear dropping all the time. Go to 810whb.com/shop.
Rally House, shop every team in town. College and pro, come on, it's time to go.
Time to run it back, Kansas City. Shop the largest selection of Chiefs, AFC champion, and Super Bowl gear at Rally House. New postseason styles arriving daily.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House, Rally House. It's your city, it's your house. It's a Rally House.
Selection varies by location. Limited quantities while supplies last.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Welcome back to the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thanks once again to Soren Petro for joining us in the second hour of the Red Zone Special, getting his thoughts and takes on Sunday's game. Sterling, do we have another special guest on the line with us this evening?
We do.
Oh, man. Well, it is the man, the myth, the legend. He is a good friend of mine. He used to call NFL games and college football games, but decided to take a break from making all the money, decided to share with the rest of us little lowly people. Our good friend, Mr. Jayice Pearson, former defensive back for the Kansas City Chiefs and current Chiefs ambassador. JC, what's going on this evening, man? Super Bowl weekend. How come you're not down here joining me in Tampa?
I know, man. If I had some tickets, I would, man, but a little scarce this year. So, yeah, man, with all that COVID stuff going on, man, I'd rather be safe and sound and watching it here back home.
True that, true that. Look, I mean, I want to jump right into things. We definitely appreciate you joining us tonight. Obviously, look, this is not the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. Do you think that this team defensively is better this season going into the Super Bowl than last year?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think they're playing really well, especially the back end. I think the secondary is playing much better than they played last year. Obviously, the addition of Seed has helped. Had a great rookie season, but I think they're deeper. They've got more guys that can contribute, that can come in and play in. And I think they're definitely, and they're going to have to be better this year too, I think.
Okay, and then, of course, we look at this game. This matchup features, great players on both sides of the ball. Of course, defensively, you've got a chance to see what is it that you think that the Chiefs would need to do differently from the first game to this game to make sure that they come out with the win.
Well, I think you got to mix it up. You're obviously not going to confuse Tom Brady. He's seen everything that there is to see, but you can't just let him know exactly where you are every down. You still have to try to move around. You have to change some things up. But more importantly, the way you beat Tom Brady, and we all know that, we've seen it in the past, is you've got to hit him, and you've got to pressure him from the inside, make him move, get him off of his spots. And once you start disrupting him, disrupting the timing, well, now you can have some success against them. And that's what they've got to do tomorrow. Those guys inside that defensive line, they've got to find a way to get up the field and make him feel that pressure and throw his timing off.
On the phone with us, Jayice Pearson, former Chiefs defensive back and current Chiefs ambassador. Sterling, go ahead, my friend.
So, as a former cornerback, you know better than us. How has Kansas City been able to do it with guys who weren't highly touted? Undrafted guys, sixth rounders, guys who are back on one-year deals. How have they been able to do it, and what's this one talent that's been able to gel so well? Is it more Spags? Is it Veach identifying a certain aspect of a player's game, or is it just these players flew under the radar? They all had the talent, and just no one saw it.
Well, I don't put a whole lot of stock in, just because a guy was drafted in the first round versus the sixth round or an undrafted guy. Guys have talent, and sometimes guys are overlooked or they're not drafted for a certain reason. They may not fit a certain system, but I think Veach has done a great job of identifying guys, not just in the secondary, but across the board, across this team that has been able to come in and help, whether they're free agents, whether they're undrafted guys, whether they're late round guys, whatever the case may be. They've been able to identify the type of player that they like and develop those guys, and they've done a great job of that. And you got to give those guys, not only Veach but this coaching staff, a lot of credit for developing guys like you said that may have gone under the radar.
Let's take Tyrann Mathieu out very quickly. Of the rest of the guys in the secondary, who do you think steps up and has the biggest impact?
Tomorrow?
Yes.
I think they're all going to have their chances. That's for sure. Tom Brady's going to spread the ball around, and man, they've got a lot of weapons, just like we do. So guys are going to have their opportunities, and as defensive backs, man, really, your mindset is you want them to throw at you because you can't make a play unless they're throwing at you. And I think all these guys are confident enough and they want to be able to make some plays, and they've made plays throughout. So you can't be out there being scared and hoping they don't throw the ball at you because, then you're going to get picked on. You got to be out there thinking, throw it to my guy. I want you to throw it to my guy because I can't make a play if you're not throwing it to my guy.
JC, we look at this game, and of course, look, we know offensively what the Chiefs are able to do. We've seen the Bucs on their 7-game winning streak. They've hit 40 a couple of times. They're averaging about 35 to 36 points a game during this win streak. What is going to be the biggest key in seeing to it that Brady doesn't have the success against the Chiefs that he's had thus far in the playoffs against teams on the defensive side of the ball who, the defense team that he's faced, which were pretty good top 10 teams, like he faced against the Washington football team, the Saints, as well as the Packers?
Yeah, well, I think, again, you got to get after him. He turned the ball over against Green Bay
3 times.
If he turns the ball over 3 times, I think we're good. But what you can't do also is give up the big play. And we saw the big play right before halftime against Green Bay where he throws it over the top in zone coverage and the corner just lets Scotty Miller run right by him. It makes no sense. But those are the things you can't do in big games. You can't have those kind of mental lapses. And that's what you can't do. You got to make, and I'm sure they're saying the same thing against the Chiefs offenses. You can't give up the big play. You got to try to make these offenses go 8, 9, 10 play drives consistently, because when you make a team do that, they're going to have a holding penalty. They're going to have a false start. They're going to have a drop ball. It's so hard in this league to consistently do that. That's what you want teams to do. So, both of these defenses are probably going in with the same mindset of, hey, let's just not give up anything big and easy and make these teams have to work.
Charlotte?
So when it comes to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, I think the Buccaneers showed they struggled to guard both of them. Who do you think steps up the biggest for Kansas City? Is it going to be Tyreek, Travis Kelce, or will we see a Sammy Watkins emergence, considering I don't know if the Buccaneers want to get burned by Tyreek twice in one season.
Right. And they're not going to let Tyreek beat them. And I think playing the Chiefs in Week 12 is an advantage for Tampa because they've seen the speed. Going into that game, when you haven't seen it, you see it on film, you know a guy's fast, but until you actually line up against them, you don't know how fast. And I think they were surprised at how fast Tyreek actually is in that game because, what he had 200 yards in the first half, just
first
killing
quarter.
First quarter, and so they're definitely not going to let that happen again. So they're gonna definitely play over the top of him, take him away. They're gonna try to take Travis away. Everybody does. It's just so hard to do though. But that's why guys like Sammy Watkins, like last year, made that big play against Richard Sherman because there's so much attention given to the other guys. We're not gonna let Tyreek beat us. We're not gonna let Travis beat us. Well, you can't double everybody. So now guys like Sammy Watkins are single covered and they just have to win and they can make big plays.
JC, I'm baffled because you're not the one who I've heard say this as it relates to the defense that they played against Tyreek and the reason that they get, everybody's saying that, well, they want to see how fast. I mean, like you've had 4 or 5 years of film on this guy, and it's not like you don't know how fast this guy. Why would you even think trying to single cover Tyreek Hill that okay, we want to get an up close look and see just how fast he is? Come on, let's single cover. I mean, seriously?
Well, yeah, because you see on film that a guy is fast, but until you actually play against him and see him in person. And you guys know when you see Tyreek in person, it's a different deal, man. It really is. I mean, that dude is explosive, and on film you see one thing, but you as a player, you can't go out there thinking, "Damn, I can't cover this guy's too fast for me." So you go out there and you play and you line up, and you got to see it for yourself. But now they know that, hey, this dude, whoever 24 was for Tampa can't run with him. So they're not going to put him on Tyreek, not when they're manned up and not without anybody over the top. So that I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be tough for Tyreek to make some big plays down the field. He's going to have to catch ball, some intermediate outs, and then make some big plays, yards after the catch. But they're definitely not going to let him beat them over the top.
As a defensive back, when you see a team, obviously, when you play for the Chiefs, you obviously saw the Raiders, Seahawks, and the Broncos twice a year. But I'm curious, the second time around, Tyrann Mathieu, Jerry Sneed, Travarius Ford, those players, what adjustments do you see them making, if any, when they're going up against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown second time around?
Yeah, well, again, after you've played somebody, then you've studied them, you've played against them, you've seen them in person, and so now you know exactly what to expect from them, how fast they are, how quick they are, do they use their hands trying to push off at the line of scrimmage. So all those things that, you see on film against other people, now you know how this guy plays against you and vice versa. So, you're going to – both sides are going to make their little adjustments based on what they learned from that game, right, and then see who can execute it and win. There's the offense is studying the defense, and the defense is studying the offense, and then take your little mismatch, your little individual matches, and try to figure out, okay, well, he did this and went here, or he gave me this move and he did this, and so there's so many little nuances within every play that and that's why you study so much film. That's why you study not only the film, you study the individual to try to pick up little tendencies on what they're doing. And, that's the game within the game.
All right, guys, I have a fun one for you. With McCole Hardman struggling as far as punt returns, who do the Chiefs put back at punt returner? And maybe I'm being a little facetious here, but I was almost joking and say put no one at punt returner because the Chiefs can score no matter what field position they are put in. who's going to be returning punts in the Super Bowl for Kansas City?
Well, I ain't taking those chances in the Super Bowl with just having nobody back there. You're not putting. I don't care for this Patrick Mahomes. I'm not putting them on the 1 yard line.
Hey, shoot, with the guys they have, I'd rather put somebody back there and give them a chance, whether it's McCole or Tyreek. I mean, obviously they've got a lot of confidence in McCole. They went right back to him, let him, continue to return punts, and he made some plays offensively. So, I think you're going to see him first, obviously. But if it's crunch time and you need a big return, I wouldn't be surprised to see number 10 go back there and get his hands on the ball.
I could also see Byron Pringle, but they looked at the Chiefs have already said, Dave Tobin said that all of their receivers are able to go back there and return kicks. So, whether or not he plays much, in the lineup with receivers, you could also see DeMarcus Robinson back there return the punts. But
man, no way. If it were me.
No. Well, I'm just saying that's what the man said. I ain't saying that's what I would do. I'm just saying that's what Dave Tobin said.
Yeah, that's all good earlier in the year, but this is the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
This is the last game. Ain't nothing to save it for, and there's nothing to save anybody for. This is it. You got all off season to rest and recover.
Right about that.
Number 10 needs to be back there.
So for both you guys, what means more? Was last year's Super Bowl, was that more pressure since they hadn't done it in 50 years, or is this year almost more pressure because everyone expects them to run it back? Which one had more pressure on the Chiefs?
Yeah, JC, you take that first.
I think they're both equal, to be honest with you, because every year is a different year. Having to repeat, it's always tougher to repeat. You know that. That's why not many people do it. But now they've gotten to this point. This team, they seem to handle it, pressure and adversity without a problem. And obviously because you got 15 that can bail you out of a lot of situations. But in terms of pressure, I don't think that they're really feeling a lot of pressure. Obviously, you're gonna, it's the Super Bowl, so you feel that. But I don't think they feel any added pressure that they have to go out and do what. I think this team just wants to go out and play. And if they do that and play well, they're gonna win.
I would respectfully disagree with you, only in that I think obviously the first one is always the hardest one to get because there's no guarantee that you're going to get there. And, obviously when the Chiefs played the Patriots in 2018 in the AFC Championship game, look, we all thought that, yes, Patrick Mahomes' first full year, we feel like, okay, he's going to come back many times over the next couple years, but there's still no guarantee. And things fell into place for Kansas City last year, where instead of them having to go on the road in the playoffs, they ended up, before they even played their first divisional game, they ended up getting home field advantage throughout the playoffs because the Ravens were knocked off. So they didn't have to go to Baltimore to try to get to the AFC Championship game and to try to get the Super Bowl. So I think things fell into place for them to where it made it much easier, I guess, the second time around, knowing that, okay, we're hosting the AFC Championship game this time around. This time, if we get the lead after being down like 24 points to the Houston Texans, okay, now we're, now if we, once we get down or if we get the lead against the Titans, well, we have the offense that can continue and that can maintain that lead and build upon it. And I think when that happened, it made it confidence-wise, easier for Kansas City to realize, okay, we can get to the Super Bowl now. And then, of course, obviously coming from behind to win it, there was no guarantee because just like San Francisco thought that, oh, we got a great team, we can come back the next year and do it. There's no guarantee that, that coming back the second time around or trying to run it back would work. So I would say that trying to get that first one is always the hardest one because you never know if you're going to be able to come back and do it again.
I mean, yeah. I'm with you.
They're all hard. Yeah, they're all hard.
Yeah. This was tough. I mean, 50 years with 50 years. That is a long time. Just to me, though, something about this year. As a fan, I think it's less pressure because they won last year. So for me, I don't want to say content. You never want to be content. But for me, it's almost like, okay, 50 years compared to 1 year, I can live. But as far as the players go, the expectation was Super Bowl or bust. That is so much pressure to put on yourself. And the fact that they were able to accomplish at least getting back, just to me still speaks volumes about not only the players, the coaching staff, but the entire organization having one goal in the middle of a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, and saying, we're not going to let any distractions come in and distract us. And they've done it. Just to me, you always hear teams talk about, running it back and we're going to build a dynasty and all this. No one does it. This Chiefs team looks like they've at least started laying the groundwork for it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you got to give them a lot of credit because, I think the fans of Kansas City are a little spoiled now. You don't, you don't realize how damn hard it is to get to a Super Bowl. Do you know how hard it is to get to, and they've done it 2 years in a row, and they've done three AFC championships. You know how hard it is to do that. It's crazy. But I think they've gotten, we've gotten spoiled because of the Mahomes magic and all the big plays and all that stuff. And you expect, to come from behind win, so you expect it all the time. But man, what they are doing and what they have done is amazing because it is so hard to do.
JC, stay with us. We do need to take a time out, pay some bills when we come back. Want to get some thoughts on how you think the game is going to unfold, and of course, pick your winner as well as Super Bowl MVP. Keep it locked into the Red Zone. You're listening to it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John, and I've been listening to how great Nate feels after going to Stretch Zone, so I had to try it out myself, and I feel fantastic. And my wife, Susan, she's had 2 years of daily back pain, which is already feeling better after a few sessions. Stretch Zone will help you relieve stiffness and soreness, increase and maintain range of motions, and enhance physical skills. Stretch Zone is located in Lenexa and Overland Park. For more information, check out StretchZone.com.
Buying or selling your home is a big decision, maybe the largest transaction of your life. So make sure you have a real estate expert on your side. Shannon Brimacombe and Stacy Cohen with Reese Nichols. Brimacombe and Cohen rank among the top 1% of all agents in the city, with over 100 million in transactions in the past 2 years. Dedication and decades in the business. Contact Stacy Cohen at 816-729-7214 and find out why Brimacombe and Cohen are moving people and moving houses.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. I played linebacker. I won a state championship. I played Division I ball. I know a thing or two about winning. The winning attitude starts with confidence. My law firm is so confident in what we do that if we take your injury case and we don't win, you don't pay us a dime. So if you've been hurt, call me. My team wants to win for you. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
When you need someone who can really get it out, call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Dirt, dust, dander, and allergens get embedded deep into your carpets. And they get trapped inside the walls of your air vent system. But you don't have to let them contaminate your home. Zero Res can get it out. Carpets, tile, upholstery, and yes, now cleaning air ducts too. When you want your home clean, you call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Schedule a cleaning this month and save 21% off of all services. ZeroResKC.com.
Hi, Chiefs fans. This is Clark Hunt. If you have an urgent orthopedic or sports injury, the University of Kansas Health System is open, safe, and has extended hours to see you quickly. You deserve champion treatment from the experts who treat the Chiefs. Request an appointment at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. We're proud that the University of Kansas Health System is the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door. with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
We're back here on the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Darren Smith with you until the top of the hour, after which Josh Briscoe would take the baton from me and continue on. And then he is followed by Ali Trost from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. With us still, former Chiefs defensive back and current Chiefs ambassador, Mr. Jayice Pearson. JC, looking at this game, I'd love to know who the X factor is, in your opinion, for the Chiefs to pull this game out. And then also, I just got to have your score prediction, because I'm sitting on this bedside right now, man, and I'm really ready to just go all in and, even get a loan from you if need be, so we can make sure that we're in Los Angeles together next year, man. Because the way Soren Petro was talking about, he was like, he made it seem like, man, I need to just dip into the life savings and bet on the Chiefs big tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, I put my money. I put my money on Kansas City. That's for sure. All things being equal, I think the Chiefs are the better team. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be close, but I think Kansas City is definitely the better team.
So, what's your score prediction?
I'm thinking. I know it was 27-24 when they played a few weeks ago, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little more wide open. I think I'm going to go 34-28, Kansas City. Yeah. I think,
I like that.
There's not going to be a lot of running. The Tampa's going to try to run Fournette a little bit, but once they get behind, they're going to turn Tom Brady loose. It's all or nothing in this one. So it's going to be wide open football tomorrow.
Sterling, go for it.
So, very quickly before we get into that, I just want to say I tweeted out which Chiefs team had more pressure on them last year's or this year's. If you want to vote on it, it's at Homestretch KC. And 69 votes so far. 61% say last year's was more difficult so far. So I'll keep this updated because I'm very interested to see what most people thought was the more difficult one to win. But I have the Chiefs winning 31-28. I think it's going to be a close game, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be as close as the score indicates. I think the Chiefs will win. Maybe Tom Brady throws a late touchdown. Maybe it's 31-21, and then Tom Brady scores a touchdown late to make it look closer than it really was. But I believe this is the final passing of the torch. This is the one where Mahomes goes, it's me. It's my time. Tom Brady, congratulations. You broke Father Time for an extent, but guess what? Everyone falls eventually, and I think this is the official time where, you know what? Patrick's number one, and there's no more debate about it. He's the new GOAT.
Yeah, well, I think Patrick is the new guy right now, but to make him the GOAT, it's still going to take a few more years. I mean, Tom has done it for a long time at that level, and he's 43 years old, 1 year in Tampa, and he has those guys in the Super Bowl. So, it's still going to be a while to overtake that GOAT moniker, but I think Patrick is the guy to do it. But I don't think we can put that on him after 3 years.
No, I apologize, yeah. JC. I meant the current. There's no debate of. You can't say it's Aaron Rodgers. You can't say it's Patrick Mahomes, or you can't say it's Tom Brady. I'm talking about the current greatest. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
We throw it around too often.
Right.
We what happened to that?
Yeah, I don't throw that around at all.
It says the guy with GOAT in his Twitter handle. Come on now, Darren.
Well, I am the GOAT. That's different. If we talk about myself.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I mean, he's the number one guy right now. If you're gonna start a quarterback, a team, and who you want as your quarterback, Mahomes is already that guy. I think he's already surpassed Tom in that regard. I don't think, obviously tomorrow will go a long way in that, but I still think all in all, if you're starting the team today, you're going to want Pat versus Tom.
No, I'm with you. And speaking of that, look, this is probably one of the best quarterback matchups since obviously Montana Elway, and obviously there might be some even since then. But what are your thoughts on this particular matchup? That we're seeing, because over the years we've always thought we'd get a Brady Breeze or Brady Rodgers type of Super Bowl, and we haven't gotten that. And of course, we had to get Tom Brady to come to the NFC for us to have this type of quarterback matchup. Now, you were someone who was involved in television, so you know how this works as it relates to the the promoting of the game. I mean, how big of an audience do you think we're going to see tomorrow? And then just how big is this matchup just in general, just from a TV rating standpoint between both of these players, or with both of these players?
Well, I think the media hype is huge, and you can't really get much better. Just like Sterling was saying, you got the young new GOAT versus the old GOAT. I mean, however you want to word those, you got the young up and coming superstar, best in the league, versus a guy that's done it for 20 years and been the face of the league. So, it's from a media standpoint, the matchup can't get much more exciting and much more to hype. You got two teams that are playing very well, a lot of talent on both teams, so it should be a great game, and it should be a great Super Bowl, really. I mean, everything is there to make this a great game. I think Patrick is really going to have to earn it tomorrow, because I think he's going to have to move around and all with the offensive line issues. And I know that if you're Tampa Bay, you got to be licking your chops, looking at the tackles, thinking that we are going to get up the field and get after Mahomes. And so with that, I think Pat's going to have to move around, not necessarily run a lot, but I think he's going to have to move around, buy time in the pocket, escape, get outside a little bit. They may have to move the pocket some, but I think he's not going to just be able to get comfortable tomorrow. I think he's going to have to move around a lot.
JC, I want to call a quick audible because I want to get your thoughts. It was just announced that Tom Flores, the former Raiders head coach, got the votes necessary to get into the Hall of Fame. Your quick thoughts? I mean, obviously, he's a Raider, but
Right.
but he waited a long time for that. And then, as someone who follows the fight game, as you and I both do, Leon Spinks, the ex-heavyweight champion who upset Ali, died at 67. Just want to get your thoughts on both of that right quick.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations to Tom Flores, first of all. I think that was long overdue. Obviously, Super Bowl winning coach, Hispanic coach at that. But it's great that he's getting his due while still alive and able to enjoy that. Whereas, it's unfortunate with Leon Spinks. I saw that earlier. I was surprised. I didn't realize that he was 67 years old. But had battled some cancers, but sad, because obviously with Leon beating Muhammad Ali back in the day, that was huge. He was just this young, carefree guy that didn't have a care in the world, just went in there just to fight, and then obviously gave Ali the rematch, and Ali won it back. But Leon Spinks was always a guy that had that huge smile that seemed like he enjoyed life, and sad to see that it's ended for him, but he'll always be a heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and I got a chance to of course, boxing ran in the family as well, so we definitely, he would definitely be missed, and obviously respect to his family as well, to his brother Michael, who lost a champion this evening. JC, look, man, we really appreciate your time tonight, man. I know you got the Chiefs tomorrow. I'm gonna need you to cash out me some of that NFL PA pension money, so we can lay some bets on the game tomorrow, man.
I know. I've been thinking about it too. I've been thinking about making some bets. I don't normally do that, but.
Well, hey, just call me tomorrow. Call tomorrow. I get it taken care of for you. But JC, hey, really appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you tomorrow before the game.
Hey, you and Sterling, take care, man.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Thank you so much. And join us right now also, who's down here in Tampa with me. He's been running all over Tampa, burning the calories and burning the midnight oil, getting his articles done. We're so honored to have NFL columnist for USA Today and one of the members of the Hall of Fame voting committee. And of course, we just got the notification, Jarrett Bell with us, that Tom Flores was accepted and made it to the Hall of Fame. So first of all, welcome to the show, Jarrett.
Hey man, what's up, D?
Doing well. Because of the announcement, is published in public. ESPN put it out there. What was what's that much discussion as it relates to Tom Flores getting in?
Yeah, I guess you could say there was discussion. Yeah, there was an ample amount of discussion. He's been a guy who has been in the mix for a while, but I also believe that the momentum for him just really increased in recent years. And I think that the big drawback, if you say, well, why hadn't it happened before now, is you think about what happened when he left the Raiders and he goes to Seattle and he's the coach and the general manager, and it doesn't work. And it really kind of took away when you start talking about wins and losses. He didn't do much with the Seahawks. By the same token, you can say Hank Stram, guy that people in Kansas City are familiar with, had the same experience when he left the Chiefs and went to the Saints. Didn't really work, but he got into the Hall of Fame, many years ago. So I think that's kind of part of the counter when you say, yeah, Tom Flores wasn't successful in Seattle, but nonetheless, I think that was one reason why it took so long. But, good for him and being, alive to be able to enjoy this, even with his Coors Light commercial.
that was pretty awesome. Of course, Jarrett Bell, USA Today NFL columnist and Hall of Fame voter. Look, you've been here, I believe, most of the week along with me. I'm just real curious, your thoughts on covering the Super Bowl in the pandemic, overall. I know you've got a chance to travel the country this season, covering the games in a different aspect, obviously, with the social distance and empty stadiums and stuff. What have you, what's your takeaway for this past season? And are you surprised, to the extent that the league was able to make it to this point tomorrow, where no games had to be canceled?
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable, to tell you the truth. Now, had you asked me back in July what was going to happen, I would have probably thought they're going to have some games canceled. They may have to, push into January and push the Super Bowl back. I mean, all of those things were on the table, but the NFL really, really wanted to get this thing done on time. And part of the reason for them wanting to get it done on time is that if you don't get it done on time, then you're really pushing into next season when you start talking about the off season and all of that. So I think the NFL was really motivated to finish on time and then start on next year. Okay, go in and clean out all these, facilities, deep clean all of these team headquarters and see where they are on protocols and what they need to do, and just ramp it back up for next year when they will have a little more time between now and, say, the start of training camp or mini camps or whatever, just to kind of see how the virus is going and all of that. But to answer the first part of your question about the Super Bowl, yeah, a lot like the season, really. I mean, we all knew that this was going to be a different Super Bowl. And, it's interesting because as Byron Leftwich, the Bucs offensive coordinator, was talking about, he really wishes that, the players who'd never been to a Super Bowl got a chance to enjoy the whole Super Bowl atmosphere. Tom Brady was like, this is media night on Monday, media day after media day, actually. He's like, for a guy who's been to like so many Super Bowls, like, never like this. So the whole thing with the Zoom calls, the Chiefs not coming in until today, not the party scene that we've seen, although I was out in Ybor City and, you wouldn't know that there was a pandemic going on with all the people out there and all the people out there without masks.
Ugh.
But for the most part, around the hub of the Super Bowl, media center and the NFL headquarters hotel and all that stuff, usually places that are hopping, on Super Bowl weekend. None of that this time.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're right. And that is still shocking, knowing that we're in a pandemic and knowing how this is. People walking around literally with no mask. I saw that today when I was when I ran into you while you were jogging. I'm just looking like these people literally just walk around just no mask, no, like there's nothing called COVID out here. And I'm just like, well, let me make sure, I keep my mask on and things like that, so I don't fall into that trap. That being the case, Jarrett, I'm interested in obviously your thoughts. I know we had you on, talked a little bit yesterday on the ESPN side of things about this game. You have Tampa winning, but I'm curious as to know why Tampa over Kansas City, especially with the way that the Chiefs and Patrick have played throughout the season. I know Tampa's on a 7-game win streak. What swayed it for you, one side over the other?
Well, two things. Tom Brady won, and the injuries on the Kansas City offensive line, I think that's a significant thing. And we know Patrick Mahomes can make magic, and he will make magic. And he can improvise. They'll have the moving pocket, all of that. But I think the Bucs defense is really good. And we'll see. Because Kansas City's played a lot of good defenses over the years. But anybody can be beaten, man. So you can't crown somebody just because you think that they're good. It has to play out. So Kansas City can win this game. They're favored to win the game, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to be as high scoring of a game as as a lot of people are projecting. I think both of these defenses have, really, proven to play some good ball in key moments, and they have, both defenses have a lot of playmakers, So that is going to be something that we'll see how that plays out. But
Uh-oh.
For most of the season, they didn't look like the best team. They got. How were they able to put it together in the most crucial, stretch of the season and then get to here?
A couple things. One, they got better as the season progressed, and that's what you want. Really, you want to be playing your best football at the end. And so, they got beat by the Saints twice. And so, if you thought somebody was coming from the NFC West, it was New Orleans, right? So they did that. That's one thing. The other thing that they've really done all season, even when they were losing, is that they play with a lot more discipline than they have in recent years. And that's last year with Bruce Arians, and then even before that. They don't make as many mistakes, turnovers, penalties way down. The Bucs led the league in penalties last year. And I think that's part of the Tom Brady influence. And, when you've got your team leader ultra respected, you can say things. And I know, how Brady operates behind, and we see him chewing out offensive linemen and stuff like that. But, yeah, they got better as the season went along. They got healthier in certain spots, earlier and it took time for Tom Brady to get used to the offense. So it was just a process. I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, even though Darren saw it back in April. That's great. Because you knew when Tom Brady came and the weapons that they already had in place that it was possible. Yeah. But I certainly didn't think that it would happen. I would have thought it would have been Green Bay or New Orleans. Even Seattle before the season, I thought had a shot. So the fact that they're here is a big W, even if they get blown out tomorrow.
Yeah, and Jared, and as I mentioned earlier in the show, my whole thing was they were a good team last year, and I thought they had a great defense last year. It was just that you had a starting quarterback that turned the ball over 35 times. I mean, no defense, no team can win, can make it to the playoffs if your starting quarterback is turning the ball over 35 times, putting the defense back on the field and keeping them in harm's way. My whole thing was if Brady comes in and cuts it down by 67%, then that's good enough for at least 4 games, and that'll put you in the playoffs. And then after that, I just feel like Tom Brady by that time, by the playoff time come about, he can at least beat you from the neck up and put you in situations to where you get a chance to win it, and you might have a chance. Now, I did think that Tom Brady was kind of trying to throw the game away against the Packers, throwing 3 second-half interceptions. I didn't expect that. In their win against them. But no, I'm with you. I think Tom Brady made a world of difference, because one, he had the experience by being in the Super Bowl 9 times prior to getting there. So, for a team and players who've never gotten there before, you don't have a choice but to listen to what he has to say, because he knows what it takes to get there. Stay with us if you would, Jared. I'll let you touch on that on the other side of the break.
I gotta get moving here, bro.
Okay. Well, look, really appreciate the time. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with the Red Zone special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Holmes floats it wide open. Kelsey, touchdown.
You don't get these opportunities every single year in the NFL to be in the Super Bowl. And so you don't want to look back and have regrets about how you played and how you went about the league of preparing to go out there and play your best football.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Stream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's LIGHTSTREAM.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval. Rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Thank you for a fantastic 2020 and trust in Victory to buy and service your vehicles during these unique times. Folks, Victory is your #1 customer-rated dealership in the Metro with 4.8 stars on Facebook and 2,200 Google reviews at a robust 4.7-star rating. Come by the dealership for a no-hassle demonstration from one of my expert certified sales managers and see why we come so highly recommended. Just released, the 392 Hemi and electric vehicle Jeep Wrangler are now available for order. The all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L is here, and it's a showstopper. Don't forget about the 2021 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the 700-horsepower Ram TRX. Come drive the Jeep course, say hello, and see for yourself why we're all excited for 2021. Visit us at Kansas City's only automotive outlet mall, the Legends Auto Plaza, on the southeast corner of 435 and Parallel, just east of Nebraska Furniture Mart, or online at VictoryMotorsKC.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Sports Radio 810 WHB is your home for the best Chiefs coverage. Hi, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan. Listen all week to live Chiefs coverage with head coach Andy Reid, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, tight end Travis Kelce, and the rest of your favorite Chiefs players. Then listen to 24 hours of pregame before listening to me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to the Red Zone Special here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Want to thank once again Jarrett Bell joining us. The folks who are wondering is whether was giving a call, so of course he had to take that call. That's a little bit more important right now than joining us. And Sterling, look, before we get out of here, again, want to remind everyone that coming up, our Red Zone coverage continues with Joshua Briscoe. Then, of course, following him will be Ali Trost at 11 p.m. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. With game day coverage, Red Zone coverage, live from Raymond James Stadium. That'll, of course, be followed by the Central Bank of Midwest pregame. So Allie and Josh will actually send it to me in the morning as they get on the air at 9 o'clock as well. So they're working double duty tonight and then coming back tomorrow. But Sterling, final thoughts, man. We got about 7 minutes left, man. Your final overall thoughts, assessments. Feel free to change your bets or change your thoughts if you want to, your picks if need be, on tomorrow's game, Chiefs Bucks.
I'm just so confident in Kansas City, which is such a weird feeling being in a Super Bowl. And it's so weird. Like, I get it. They're going up against the Buccaneers, who have every right to be in the Super Bowl. You could say they're the best team in the NFC. After the way they dismantled the Bills, and it made it look so easy, I don't want to get cocky, but I'm just so confident. This team, I feel like, truly believes there's still one more game. A lot of teams get to the Super Bowl and they go, you know what, we made it to the Super Bowl. Let's have some fun. But this Chiefs team knows, you know what, the deal is not done until they win. And just to me, that's just so impactful. And I've said it this entire show. I've said it almost the entire season. When you have a team with one goal, and that goal is winning the Super Bowl or it's a lost season, that's a team with a distinctive goal in mind. And it's just so impressive in the National Football League.
You know, so in the way you're talking, you really want me to deposit another $100 in this account here and just go big on this game tomorrow night. Look, I'm with you. I just see a scenario where it's hard for me to see it being. I don't see this game being a Rams-Patriots game to where it becomes a defensive effort. I just can't see it because, there hasn't been a defense designed yet to shut down and stop Patrick. I mean, literally only injury seems to be able to stop this man. Now, I don't want to put it to the test, and I don't want God, trying to be like Darren, hold my breath. I don't want that because – I need the Chiefs to win by at least 3, and I need them to score a total of 56 points or more. But that being, hey, I'm just calling it like I see it, man. But that being the case, I don't see a scenario where the Chiefs don't score more than 30 points, and then, I think it's a high-scoring game. I think it's more Philadelphia Patriots or Eagles Patriots, but like you mentioned earlier, I see the Chiefs getting out to a big lead. And Brady just cutting into the lead, even though they don't have enough time, where the score ends up looking a lot more respectable than what the outcome chooses. So I just see a scenario where Kansas City and I'm gonna get your score. Well, let me get your score right quick before I go into mine.
So I do have the Chiefs winning 31-28. Like I said earlier, I think it's going to be – the score is going to be that close, but I don't think it's going to be that close when you watch the game. It may be a late touchdown from Tom Brady. It may be a late rumble from Leonard Fournette, but I think Kansas City will have a pretty strong hold on the game throughout.
Yeah, I'm like that. I have the Chiefs 42, Bucks 35. I just think Kansas City will get a chance to score early. And again, I think a big thing is going to be who gets the ball first. If the Bucks win it, do they defer? Do they try to have Kansas City, go out there? Really, do you want to put them on Patrick's hand right off the bat and let them go down the field and score? Obviously, 95% of the Chiefs players have played in this game last year. You only have maybe 5 players on the Bucs squad who have played in the Super Bowl. You got Tom Brady, you got Gronkowski, you got Ndamukong Suh, you got JPP, and you got Antonio Brown. Those are the only 5 players that I know right off hand that have played in the Super Bowl. So that being the case, will the moment early on, will it be some pregame jitters? Will it be players pulling the Donovan McNabb and throwing up, on the field because, here they are in the Super Bowl playing at home? Look, I like Kansas City. Once if Kansas City can at least get a 2-score lead, I think that'll be all she wrote, because I think then the Bucs will start pressing and try to force things to try to get back in the game. Even if you score, you're putting the ball back in Patrick Mahomes' hands. And like I said, depending on how the game starts out, on who gets possession, if the Chiefs get the possession close to halftime, they go down and score and then turn around and get it at the start of the second half. If the Chiefs can do it like that and expand on the lead that I'm looking for them to have, I don't see why they cannot blow this team out 42-35 again. Biggest thing for me is I need them to win by at least 3 or more, and the point total be above 55.5, and I'm happy.
Well, I'm a huge unsung hero guy. I love Derek Fisher. I loved Wally Zerbiak. I like those guys who don't always get all of the credit. So I'm going to go out and say Darrell Williams, Sammy Watkins, 2 guys to really watch out for. Those 2 guys are going to have a big game. L'Jarius Sneed defensively. You know what? Give Anthony Hitchens some love. Anthony Hitchens has had a great season. I want to give Anthony Hitchens some love, and I hope he has a huge Super Bowl.
Hey, look, and as I've said before, my X factor is if you do not hear Chris Jones and Frank Clark's name being called in the first half, that's a problem. That means Tom Brady is not getting pressured enough in the ball game. Look, want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight for the Red Zone special. I'd like to thank Union Broadcasting President Chad Boeger, Soren Petro, host of the program, Jayice Pearson, along with Jarrett Bell of USA Today, and, of course, my sidekick, my main man, my co-host on ESPN Kansas City, Mr. Sterling Holmes. Want to thank you all so very much. We'll do this again in about 14 hours when I come back at 11 a.m. locally with the Red Zone live from Raymond James Stadium. This is Darren Smith, the Sports Radio 810 WHB. We out of here.